Hello, 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 welcome, welcome, welcome. Did you like that? I just thought it was fun to have something in the background while I was getting ready, so you knew it wasn't just a frozen image. Hey everybody, it is me, it is Fox from the Model Making Guru, and we are here again for another Warhammer Sunday. Yes! Now, I have to warn you, it is 5 million degrees in here, and I'm just going to turn my monitor off because it is 5 million degrees, and I suspect it'll get even more 5 million degrees, all the lights on, so I don't know how long this show will go on for, because it's so hot today. It's a beautiful day, so we shall see. But I shall give it a few minutes for everyone to come in. Let's see who we've got so far. We have Gordon Mendes. Hello, Gordon. First comment in about half an hour ago. How do I win the prize giveaway? Stay calm, all will be revealed. Who else is in? Nim Cinderin's in. Hey, Nim. Grenelle Dupre. Hey, Grenelle. Grenelle says her unicorn, perfect grade unicorn, is almost complete. Yes, the curse of the nubbicorn is almost done. I'll explain that in a bit. John Morgan. Scott Sutherland. Hey, Scott. Who else do we have? Nate Bliss is in. Hey, Nate. Chris the Pyro. Hello. Tony Blackwell. Welcome, Tony. Osric 9000. Greetings. The Orc Boys. Afternoon. Warm, isn't it? Yeah, just a bit. It's a bit sweaty. Nim says it's finally warm here. Well, it's finally warm here, but the problem is having this on, this light, that light, the light above me, the light to the side, and the computer going full whack because it's running OBS and has 2 monitors. It's a bit warm and sweaty. So, yeah, I don't know how long we'll go on. We'll go on as long as we can today. Right, let's just see what we're up to. Got the Guru sticker I won last week of the day. Need to find some place to put it. Yes, all the stickers from the last few weeks have now been sent out to all the guys in the UK and the ones in the US and everywhere else that won. So all your stickers are on the way. We have more stickers to give away. Yes. So let's get some more of those given away today. Right. Right. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to get everything ready. And then we'll carry on. What we're going to be doing today is, if you remember last week, I got legs done of Imperial Knight. And I stuck a few extra bits on. I need the monitor on so I can see what I'm doing. Hang on. I'll turn the other monitor off. I turned my monitor off to reduce the temperatures, but I can't see what I'm doing then. Yes, so last week I got the legs done. They are all done and dusted. I did a few bits of tubes and pipes. They're all on. I did double check that the armour fits on the legs, and it does. It's all nicely lined up. So what we're going to do today is just carry on with the Imperial Knight. So let me just get my visor of seeing, which I can't find. Hang on. Searching. There we go. Right, got my visor of seeing. So how is everybody? How are you all doing, guys and girls? Hopefully you're all well. Hopefully you've all got some good weather. Now, yes, today, we have some giveaways again. We have... let me just get it. We have, of course, test stickers. We've got some Team Inept, some Model Making Guru, and I've got a few Skipper Scale model stickers to give away as well. But I also have I managed to get another one, another Warhammer 40k journal to give away. Because we did one week before last and gave that away last week. And it's basically a ruled journal. Lots of empty pages for you to scroll your ungodly handwriting in. So you can write all kinds of things. There's little inspirational quotes on every other page, like, look upon the Emperor's works and tremble. Very inspirational. So you can win one of these as well, and I'll explain how we can do that later on. So that'll be for later on in the show. I'll just move these out of the way. Oh, I'm sweating. I'm sweating so much. Oh. Wow, so warm. Right. Scott Sutherland, me and Dad, aka Mike Mountain, did our best to find you a puffin last week. Yes, for those that don't know, Mike's not in chat yet, but he said he'd come along. Scott, who lives up in Orkney, up in the top of the UK, had a visit from Mike Mountain, fellow lovely follower. We all call him Dad. Mike Mountain went to visit him, and they went around all Orkney and looking at all the cliffs and hills and went looking for puffins. I was hoping they'd send me a box of puffins, but they didn't. So they didn't find any. So you have to ask though, Scott, did you actually dangle Mike over a cliff with a bit of Tesco value string to see if you could find some? Because if you didn't, your search was not complete and thorough.
Nim Cinderin says, I haven't gotten mine yet, but I'm in the States. They were sent out on Wednesday, I think, or Thursday. I can't remember now. Wednesday, Thursday last week. I actually suddenly remembered, for the guys in the UK, for some reason, I completely forgot there's a post box at the end of my street. So I'm like, oh, I can just go and do all the UK ones now, because it's like 10 yards down the road. So they all went out, and then I went to the post office on, I think, Thursday. Could have been Friday, and all the stickers were sent out. So they shall all be on the way to everybody else outside the UK. So we've got this. We've got the camera on. We've got the chat. I've got the sniffles, of course. I have, as is the law, my enormous cup of coffee to keep me going, which is very hot and probably a bad idea on a hot day. I shall put that over there. I've got nowhere to put it though. I shall put it here under the camera because I've not got chat open there. I've got the chat here today, so hopefully I can see your comments. For anybody who's just joining us and has not been to one of these before, welcome. This is Warhammer Sunday, where I will basically sit and work on my Warhammer army. I do lots of other stuff as well as Warhammer, Gunpla and other things as well. But I'm really getting into building a Warhammer army. And instead of just devoting all my time to that, so I can get on with other stuff, I'm doing my Warhammer army at the weekends. And I'm doing it on these live shows every Sunday at 3 PM BST. It's called the Unending Forces of the Holy Contrivance, and it'll be 3 trillion dudes with no plan that I'll ever probably play it, but I just want to build them up. And in this episode, we're building one of my Imperial Knights. And now, if you've not watched one of these before, if you're watching anywhere apart from on the YouTube channel, on my YouTube channel, and you can't see the live chat, all you need to do is go to the bottom right corner of the video player, which is down here somewhere, and there should be a little YouTube icon. Just click on that, and that will take you to the YouTube page, the stream page, where you can join in the live chat. And I do recommend you do. It's a good laugh. There's lots of good people in the live chat. We have lots of fun. Lots of silly questions come my way. Everybody knows everybody, so come and join in. If you're not got the chat there, click on the YouTube icon. Come and join in. If you're watching somewhere like on my Patreon page or off Facebook or off Twitter or somewhere else, come and join in. It's good fun. If you want to ask a question, as no doubt you'll know, I'll be working away here looking at the things through my space helmet of seeing, which is already quite sweaty. So my attention will not be always on here. So if you want to ask a question, please, for the love of dog, do. It keeps me going and gives me something to talk about. Type it in big fat capital letters so I can see it from here. If you wish to, there is a super chat option. You can see at the bottom of the chat window there's a little $sign. Just click on that and you've got the option to do a super chat, which just puts your question in a big coloured box, and there's no feasible way I can actually miss it. You don't have to, it's completely optional. Oh, so warm and sweaty. And as always, get all the blurb out of the way first. As always, if you're not aware, I do have a Patreon channel. You can see there, patreon.com/modelmakingguru, where if you would like to, you can support this channel, help keep this channel going. You can support it with anything from $1 a month onwards. It's entirely up to you. There are various benefits and rewards for being a Patreon supporter, so do feel free. So, let's crack on in some tissue for the manly beard, so that every time I take a swig of coffee, I can get the litre and a half of coffee out of my moustache. Oh, because that's the downside of having a big fluffy beard. Right, and today I'm going to be using again my God hands that Stein van Gemert sent to me. Thank you very much. These are brilliant. I do like these. Crimson Carlos. Good morning, Fox. Good morning, Crimson Carlos. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, it's so warm. I don't know how long I'm going to last, folks, but I'll do my best for you. I will do my best. So, how is everybody? How is everybody in chat doing? Tell me what you're working on. What you're working on at the moment, if anything. And how is the weather there? So I'm going to make a crack on this. We've done the legs. Yeah, see, there's lovely. I've not put the dangly bit between the legs yet, because I don't need to glue that on just yet. I have decided I'm not going to go crazy magnetising this thing for customization, because if you don't know, my my army, although it's a Warhammer army, it's going to be themed on the Principality of Zeon in the Gundam universe. So I'm going to have at least 3 knights. One's going to be done up like a Zaku, one's going to be done up like a Goof, and one is going to be done up like Char's custom Zaku. So one's going to be red, one's going to be blue, and one's going to be green, if not have more than that. So I'm not going to worry about magnetising various weapons so I can swap them out, because ultimately they're going to have different weapons on them.
And I'm still in the process of deciding, but I'm working on the current one. Is going to be a bog standard Zaku, and for that we're going to be building the Knight Errant pattern, which has a heavy melter gun, I think, a heavy melter gun. But I'm replacing the chainsword on all of these with the big fat slappy hand. So he's going to have a slappy hand, and he's going to have a big flamer gun there, or melter gun. The goof, I think, will be a Knight Crusader, so it'll have the big Gatling gun thing. I can't remember the names, I do apologise. The big Gatling gun thing there and the big cannon there, and it'll have the anti-aircraft guns on top, or I might give it some missiles. The Zaku won't have a gun on top. He's just a rubbish Zaku. And what I'm hoping to do, because I'll probably get more than 3 anyway, but I'll start off with the bog standard Zaku, is the bog standard Zaku will be a bit battered and warm with, you know, paint chips and rusting and everything else. The goof will be a little bit warm, but not too much. And of course Charles Zaku will be pristine, nice and clean, because it's Charles Zaku. So I need to get another piece of tissue, because as is always the way, the moment I turn the camera on, I get the sniffly nose from hell. Oh, you know, I don't know what it is, I just get the sniffly nose from hell, and I do apologise. Oh. So right, yes, tell me what you're working on. What's on your bench at the moment? Right, let's get some bits cut off. So we're starting on the torso now. So we need 1 and 37. I hope I've got the right sprue. There'll probably be lots of sprue jumping at this point. 1. That's going to be the wrong sprue straight away. Yes, absolutely the wrong sprue. Let's get the right sprue. Now, the problem with Games Workshop stuff is, at least some of this stuff, there's no real proper numbering process on the sprues. They are numbered, but they're not in any order, so part 3 can be next to part 248. So it's kind of annoying. So on part number 1, that's part number 3. I don't know what any of these look like. It's like that shape. Or is that part number 1? It's part number... Huh? It says part number 1, but it's labelled as part number nothing. There's no label for it. That's 3, that's 4, 23, 22, 9, 5, not labelled. Well, it's the only part that looks like that. I think it's a safe bet. I think we're fairly safe. Yes, the numbering is a little bit ropey sometimes. Now do let me know, because obviously I don't have the stream playing while I'm streaming. So do let me know if the picture is terrible, or if the audio is terrible, or if I'm too quiet, or anything like that. As I said last week, I have tweaked the stream a bit, so it should be a bit less buffery for you, and a bit better for real-time communication between yourself and myself. 37, which is tubes. All the tubes in the world. So, now I've asked you what you're working on. As you know, I'm working on my little build for emodels.co.uk, my channel sponsors. I need 25. 25, which is this one, which is a TACOM AML-90 armoured personnel, armoured car that I've Warhammered up. I'm to the point of doing a diorama for it, and I was hoping to get all that done this week, but again, because of ongoing building work next door and some other things and real life stuff, I haven't had a chance to do anything this week at all, just nothing. So that's why there's nothing gone up this week. So yeah, it's a bit of a pain, because the e-models build, they come out a week earlier for patrons, and then they get released to everybody else. So it's going to be a little while before any more video content goes up, because of the building work and stuff next door, which has delayed everything. It's hard to get off. What I need is my Tamiya cutters, because they're longer. B. Can't get the cutters in there where the gates are. Darn you. I do love those God hand nippers. I have to tell you, they are really awesome. If just a little bit too short, perhaps. For Warhammer kits. They're absolutely fine for Gunpla, but for Warhammer, They tend to have very thick nubs. 26 and 27. Now, if you've never watched me build before, it's a torturous experience. I'll just say that. It is, because I'm in this hobby for the painting and the weathering. The building part of this hobby doesn't really interest me that much. And so I've never really got very good at it. So I tend to fumble about and like spend 10 minutes looking for parts on sprues and things. So I'm a bit rubbish when it comes to the actual building part of the process. So expect frustrations and head scratching and things like that. So let's have a look. Get these parts cleaned up. I can't promise there will be stabity, but I also can't promise there won't be stabity. There is a knife. Right, let's have a look and see what chat's doing. What are you all working on? James Lorimer, it's my birthday today. Does that make me a sixth lord? Hey James, happy birthday. Everybody sing happy birthday to James, please. Let's have a look. Orc Boys, happy birthday. Already done. Nate Bliss, continue on building my... This is making you all nervous, isn't it, me doing this? Continuing building my 1/20th Machine and Krieger Fireball that I started on last week's stream, says Nate Bliss. Cool. I expect to see pictures on the Boom Hut when it's done. Nim is working through his MG, his Master Grade Duel Gundam. Just got home from work, so I'm covered in flour. I don't want to know why. And he says, happy birthday to James. The Orc Boys says, 4 grams of flour. Tony Blackwell, working on finishing several kits, a Toyota Celica, a Jägermeister VW delivery van, a Lotus Super 7, and half a dozen other things. Yeah, I can't really do more than 2 things at once, because I just get too confused. Orc Boys is still painting 10 Blightlord Terminators. Aren't they really easy to paint? Don't you just like spray them silver and then give them a wash of null oil and you're done? Or Agrax Earthshade if they're old. I know it's not that simple. But they are one of the easiest kind of units to paint in Warhammer. Krista Pyro, since you're painting it like a Zaku, are you going to add little empty pizza boxes, beer and porn to the cockpit? Always with the pizza boxes. There's no cockpit on this. There's no interior, so I can't. Haha. But there's still that perfect grade Zaku that I've not got around to finishing yet. There's always a chance. Reese from RJC Models. Sorry, I mean Foxx. Salut. Hey Reese. How you doing, matey? How is the weather up there in your part of the world? The Orc Boys. Games Workshop sprue numbers don't always match the numbers in the instructions. Yeah, I know. And sometimes the instructions don't actually match the parts in the kit. It's great. God has tiny hands, says Tony Blackwell. Nim Cinderin clarifies and says, she and I work in a bakery. Yes, we kind of guessed that. Where are we? Right, so we need to get these cleaned up. So we've got some little bits of as a sprue. Let me know if I'm going off camera anyway, because I've got my little bit of a marker in the centre of the screen there, so you can see it. Oh, I'll tell you what, these parts are going to be so sweaty. I'm going to have to actually spend some time cleaning these parts, washing these parts when I've done, because I'm not going to use those for that. The thing with God hands is you can't use the very tips of the blades because it can damage them. So to get in here, I'm going to use my Tamir ones that have longer blades. Oh, that's a pain in the bum. Oh, get out. Oh, there you go. I never appreciate nubs that you can't actually get to. It's a right pain. Yeah. Come out. Get out. That can come off there. Get all the nubs on there that I had left on. Cool. So now I've got the challenge of getting these nubs out. Where have they gone? I've lost them already. There you go. Carefully. Thankfully, Games Workshop plastic is kind of soft, so removing the nubs isn't so bad. It's not like a Gunpla kit or a Bandai kit where you can really knacker the plastic there. It's kind of soft plastic, but not soft like Airfix, so it's not so bad. Okay, that's that bit. So yeah, so I haven't really got much done this week because of building work and everything else. Doing lots of other things, so it's been a bit of a barren week this week. I've been playing some Elite Dangerous when I've had moments free. I've managed to finally get myself an Asp Explorer. Yeah, I've been wanting to get an Asp Explorer since I started playing the game, and I got my Cobra Mark 3. But so I've been saving up my monies from all my little missions. I finally got myself an Asp Explorer ship, and I instantly got buyer's remorse because it doesn't handle like my Cobra. My Cobra like can turn on a dime and stops and starts instantly. My Asp Explorer is like handles like a brick, and for some reason, you give me any kind of landing bay or landing pad with my Cobra, I can land it perfectly without any problems. The Asp Explorer, it's like I've never played the game before and I've forgotten how to like land. Also, it has brakes made of cheese. Like you say stop and you pull back on the throttle and it eventually stops. Eventually. Oh, my glasses are actually steaming up. Hey, Chris is in. Hey, Chris. Chris from Gross Models. Dull grey and overcast in Orkney, says Scott Sutherland. Vincent, hey Vincent, is from Mr. Lowe's Model Making. Afternoon everyone, and hello Fox. Nate Bliss says Asp Explorers are awesome and one of my favourite ships. Upgrades Fox, upgrades, says Nate Bliss. Asp is awesome. It'll get there. I was a bit at first disappointed with the option, my choices for cargo and passenger, because I want to be able to carry lots of passengers and lots of cargo to make all the monies. And at first I was like, oh, it's not as good as, I've only got like a economy class, I can only fit an economy class, because you've got like a 2, 3, what have you got, a 2 and a 3 slot, some 2 and 3 slots, and then 5 and 6, there's no 4 slot. But then I figured after doing some shopping in some stores, I could actually get a good balance of cargo and passengers and things like that. So, yeah, so it's still, I've kind of replaced out some bits and replaced the frame shift drive and stuff. So it's got, I think, a 23 light year jump at the moment, but I've only had it a day, so it's not been modded or anything yet. So I've got to go on a scrounging run to get 8 million materials, so then I can go back to my mechanics that I've already got to work on my Cobra and get them to tart up the frame shift drive and the other things, the power distribution. I'm liking the range. I am liking the range. It's like I can do 3 or 4 jumps and not even have to worry about refueling, which is nice. Some people have said it's my glasses are steaming. Oh, knocking the camera. My glasses are, honest to God, they're steaming up. It's that warm today. Some people have said it's a pain to fuel scoop. When you get close to the sun, it overheats really quickly, but I've not had a problem with that. But because my fuel tank is so much bigger, it takes forever to fuel scoop, even with a good fuel scoop. I've got I think it's see, I'm stuck at the minute, my fuel scoop. I can't go more than a 2A because it's a two slot unit, and I don't want to sacrifice one of my 3 slot things for a bigger fuel scoop, so we'll survive. But I tell you what I do love, oh, the sound of it. It's got that proper old school knackered old prop plane Dakota sound to it. The engine is fantastic. I love it. It's just a pig to park. It's just really ass to park. And the one big drawback, the one major drawback, is that if you go into the livery, I had my Cobra done up with the Canadian flag. It was all red and white and had a big maple leaf on it. There's no such option for the Asp. It's just crappy colour scheme. So I'm like, oh. There's no incentive for me to change the colour scheme on it. It's just like gunmetal German grey at the moment, which is kind of boring. I don't really want to spend money on it anyway, so yeah. So I've lost my Canadian flag on my Cobra, and I couldn't think of a funny name. So here's a thing for you today. Thing for you to do. My Cobra was called the Kobayashi Maru Ahahaha because Star Trek. So it was called the Kobayashi Maru. Ahahaha. That's what was on the side of it. I need to come up with a good name for my Asp Explorer. I can't remember what I think for the moment I've called it the Rhombus of Doom because it's a really dumb rhombus shape. But I need you guys to come up with a good name for an Asp Explorer. My glasses really are steaming up. Ooh. So if anything worthy comes up in chat, I shall have a have a go at that name. Let's have a look. The weather down in Essex is absolutely beautiful, says Reese. Cool, yeah, we're hot and sweaty today. I was saying before, I don't know how long this show will last because I'm really sweating my parts off. Ooh, Elite Talk, I may be playing at the moment, says Chris at Gross Models. Yes, I might have a go later. To be honest, last time I played it, the passengers weren't really a thing yet, says Nate Bliss. Now they are. I just took one guy to 3 places yesterday and made 3.5 million credits for just an hour of just flying to places. Nobody attacked me. He didn't make any stupid demands. It's really weird. And I was like 3 million credits. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Then I went and bought my Asp Explorer. Yay. So we've got the nubs off. We'll just get the remaining bits of the nubs smoothed away. If you watched last week's show, you remember I was using this metal file, or these metal files. I've started actually using metal files. I didn't used to use them, but I find the plastic on these GW kits is actually resilient enough that if you go gently, it doesn't leave loads of marks in it. Or it doesn't leave as much marks as, say, just sanding it with a sanding stick, which can leave lots of unsightly scratches. So I have found on these kits, a file is just a quick and easy way of getting rid of some of this nubbage, where I wouldn't normally use a file on a polystyrene kit. Oh, it's a nub. Oh, you little... Oh. And it's a really hard place to get to. Is there one there as well? There's not one there. I do wish their nubs were a little smaller sometimes. And sometimes their nub placement is like, oh, for crying out loud. Especially on the figures, when you get a nub right in the middle of someone's face and you're like, oh, thanks. Now, if you watch the Warhammer TV videos, they always use the seam removal tool to get rid of nubs, but trust me, it's easier to quickly use a file and just use the seam removal tool for little bits and obviously seams. So I will go over this with some sandage. I'm just getting rid of the... Oh, there's another one there. Gosh darn it. It was polite, wasn't it? Gosh darn it. By the way, if you're used to watching me on the E-Model stream, this is my stream, my channel. I don't really mind if you swear. Don't go too crazy, because you never know who's watching. There may be some younger people watching, but I don't mind if you swear. You're absolutely fine. We're all grown-ups. If anybody really misbehaves, Chris is in the chat at the minute, so he's actually a mod anyway. So he will whoop your ass, right royally. Or I'll whoop your ass if I see it. But yeah, feel free to use, you know, ropey language and stuff. We're all grown-ups. I don't mind. Right. Let's get this bit. I'll come back to the chat in a second. So gorgeous outside. It's absolutely lovely. Once I finish this stream, I'm going to go straight outside into the garden and just sit and marvel at the wonders of nature. And by wonders of nature, I mean the wood pigeons who keep falling off the bird feeder every 5 minutes because they're idiots. Because they are. They're just idiots. They're just dumb. They're the dumbest creatures in all of Dog's creation. It's just like ridiculously stupid creatures. But I find them fascinating. They spend 10 minutes looking at the bird feeder to figure out whether they want to go and try and get the food off it. And then eventually they go for it and instantly fall off because even though they spent 10 minutes checking it out, they didn't really do any kind of planning as to how to land on it. Because they're that dumb. Yeah. So a bit of filing there. Little bit of filing. Filing things away. Let's make it smooth. And then we can play. I don't know where I'm going with that. I think I might start every stream with O Canada. Just as a good way to let you know the stream isn't stuck while I'm not on camera doing bits and bobs and getting set up. Plus, also it's funny. Right, this is quite hard to keep hold of. I think I'm going to have to do some washing of this torso once I've built it because, yeah, I've got kind of sweaty hands at the minute. It's really warm. And wearing little gloves is not an option because that just makes your hands even sweatier. And if there's one thing in life that's horrible, it's having sweaty hands with rubber gloves on at the same time. It's just gross. Have I done this one? No, not yet. Get this bit off. This is the building stage, so don't expect too much excitement. I'm not quite figured out how we're going to be filming and live streaming the painting stage, because that's when I need to get close up. So yes, I've been playing Elite Dangerous, and I'm absolutely adoring it. Not that I'm trying to really have any achievable goals, anything like that, not at all. I just like pootling about, and it's just something to do. When I was playing Red Dead Redemption, you know, when I'm playing the first Red Dead Redemption, I kind of got most of the way through the story, but I never got to the end, although I know what the ending is. I never got to the end. But I used to just like sitting there listening to podcasts and having Red Dead Redemption going, just pootling about on my horse, hunting and skinning and selling them for money, just because it was kind of fun to do. So in Elite, I just like to fly around and take little missions and do passenger runs and stuff. Occasionally I'll hang around a nav beacon and take people out for fun. Oh, ruddy nose. Sniffly nose. Coffee times. Oh, Dow Egberts, you are my truly best friend. Oh, get the litre out of my moustache. Right, what else is going on? Kieran Keith, hello. Hello, Kieran, welcome. Chris the Pound, I have a Diamondback Explorer. I can do like 30 jumps before I run out of fuel. I don't know how many mine can do, but it's quite a lot. I only got the Asp because it seems to be like one of the good all-rounders. I'm going to move the microphone a bit. It seems to be one of the good all-round ships. You do have a nice Asp, says Chris. Well, thank you very much. I didn't know you'd been looking. Pain in the Asp. Ooh, that's good. Proctologist, a Pain in the Asp Mark II. Damn, you beat me to it, Chris. Chris the Pyro, Pain in the Asp. I like that one, Pain in the Asp. Asp in space, says Osric, 9000. Oh, the chat moved. Nim Cinderin said something and retracted it. It can't have been that bad. You're allowed to swear, don't worry. Hey, Fox, just got the purple mecha set from Ammo by Mig. Any pointers? Not in terms of the colours, but in terms of the paints. If you've never used Ammo by Mig paints before, forget everything you know about spraying airbrushing acrylic paints. They do not. You cannot use them like any other acrylic paint. Quite simply. A Tamiya paint you can slap on the model like that and it will self-level and look really smooth. If you do that with an ammo paint, you'll get this orange peely shiny mess. So always apply them as very thin mist coats and build the colour up. That's how you're supposed to apply Ammo by Mig paints. You can't just blap the paint on like Tamiya paints or Vallejo paints or anything else. You have to do it in very thin misty coats. When they first came out a few years ago, ammo paints were getting a real bad rap on forums and stuff because, I've forgotten the stage here, because people were saying, no, it's rubbish, they come out all orange peely and horrible. But after a while it got to the point where Meg had to put a video out and people had to put videos out saying the paints aren't wrong, they're not bad, you're just doing it wrong. But to be fair, Mig hadn't told anybody that, so yeah. So just apply the colours in very thin mist coats and build them up over several coats. Like if you do a gloss coat, your first coat is like a light mist coat. It's the same principle. Do that, but just do that. Don't try and paint something in one or two coats, especially if it's like a yellow or a white where you need to do a lot of thick coats to get the coverage because they're translucent colours. Just build them up in very fine misty coats and you should be fine. You'll get nice smooth colours. The other thing is they are quite delicate. I mean most acrylics are delicate anyway. They are quite delicate, so if you paint all your stuff and then you're handling it to assemble it, you may find it coming off on corners and things. Don't panic too much. Just go carefully and touch it up as you go along. Or if you can, just handle it carefully and wear gloves. But they are very good paints. They're very, very good paints. They're just a little finicky. You have to do them just right. But Mig and AK are kind of similar in that they have these wonderful products, but they never really explain how to use them very well. Like, it took me about 3 days to find out
how to properly apply MIG's chipping fluid. Like, okay, I've sprayed it on the model. How long do I leave it before I spray the paint on top? How long do I leave it before I then start chipping? And just nobody anywhere had any information. It eventually found it. It was some like offhand. It was like a little live demo of MIG demoing it to an audience. So I just went off that timescale. So yeah, AK and MIG are kind of similar in that. They've got better over the years, but back then they were like, "Here's my products. They're brilliant. What do you do with them?" What have we got? Asp2 Park. Poo says Chris, says Nimsindrin. Chris says poo. Osric 9000 says balls. Balls. Balls of steel. Can of whoop asp. I like that from Nim. It is a can of... Yeah, I like that. James says, I'm 30 today, so I'm officially a grown-up. No. I'm 7. It depends. Depends. If your body's 30 but your brain is like 7, then you'll never be a grown-up. I'll never grow up. In my mind, I'm still like 7 and falling out of trees and things, so... When I grow up, I want to be not grown up. Oh, I like that, Nim, says Gross. Yeah, can of whoop asp. I do like that. That might be it. Chris, remind me of that later. Official Fox call. Reese says, call your Fox ship. There. Wow, train wreck. It's warm. Reese says, call your ship Bob. Bob. Is that short for Bob? Nate Bliss. Non-sweaty alternative to swear words are usually far more humorous. Yeah. Oh, non-sweary, sorry. Non-sweaty alternatives. Non-sweary alternatives. Yeah. One of my preferred non-sweary swear words is flange. I like that word. Fudge, not fudge. I've said fudge a few times on... My arm is sticking to the instructions. It's really gross. Put the instructions over there while I knock all of the paints over and stuff. I've occasionally said fudge on video every now and then. Somebody asked me the other day, actually. Because Ted, Chris and I do the E-Models live stream, Tony. And somebody actually asked me, is it hard not to swear when you're live on the telly? Doing the E-Models stream, because it's a family-friendly stream. And I said, and it was like, not really, because I don't swear in my normal videos, my normal pre-recorded videos. You know, because of... because my audience is kind of a mixed... My audience is all different ages. But also, you know, I don't want to have any hiccups with YouTube monetizing my streams or removing monetization because there's bad language, because they can get quite prissy about it, so... But live streams, I don't really mind. My live streams and stuff. We're all grown-ups here. Physically, at least. The strange thing is that a large number of my followers are actually like ex-army and ex-services. So, swear more than anybody else. Okay. Me cleaning up seam lines is not exciting viewing, but it has to be done. The downside is that because it's so hot and sweaty and my hands are a bit sweaty, all the sanding shavings are sticking to the plastic. It's a bit of a pain. Oh, asp, says Lynn Dipple. Hey, Lynn. 30 is nothing, happy birthday, says Tony. Which one I posted to, says Nim. Can of whoop asp. I like that one. That's good. Kind of whoop asp. Oh, we have moved on a bit. Cake for everyone, says Chris. Woohoo! Shamalama Moo Moo, says James. Afternoon, happy Sunday, folks, says the Earl D. Hey, the Earl D. Shandy time, definitely shandy time, says the Earl D. It's always shandy time. Bird watching again, says Reese. Elite ship control plus X3's gameplay would be perfect. I'll tell you what, I kind of got the hang of flying in Elite, and then I got a HOTAS flight stick. Yeah, it just makes all the difference. It really does make all the difference in the world. If you can afford it, get yourself a flight stick. Okay, little fiddly bit here. Now in reality I'm probably going too far taking all these seam lines off little fiddly bits, because you're probably never going to see them anyway. These are being done as tabletop playable games, so I'm not going for display quality, I'm going for tabletop quality. So it doesn't really matter, but I don't know, I can't leave nubs and seams. If I'm able to remove them, I will remove them. It's just that all these interior parts have 8 million edges, which does not... Oh, there's a nice breeze coming in. Oh, that's nice. Does not make for compelling viewing. Where's the brush? There it is. This must be fascinating viewing. Talk amongst yourselves. Oops. For some reason I've just got the Fraggle Rock theme in my head. Some talk amongst yourselves. Something for another day. Talk amongst yourselves. I know those aren't the right lyrics. Down at Fraggle Rock. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Let's have a look. Chris the Pyro. I've no idea what I want to build at the moment. I've ordered one of those new SD Zaku's that comes out in July, but that's July and ages away. That's a lifetime away. That's like 300 years in dog years. You'll be an old man by then. What do you fancy building? Is it just Gunpla, or do you fancy something else as well? Do you live near a Games Workshop? Always a fun little time filler, although not necessarily the cheapest option. Go to your local model store and just, without any preconceptions or preconceived ideas, and just have a look over the shelves and be like, what tickles my interest? And if you see something that you think, oh, that's cool, then just grab it. Sometimes cheapy kits can be good fun. Just because you don't have a lot invested in them, they only cost you like, 5 or 10 quid. You know, your older Airfix kits and stuff. They can be just good. If you've got nothing specific you want to make right now and nothing on the books, and you don't want to suddenly dedicate months and months to a build, get yourself a little 5 or 10 quid, burner kit. Can be quite good fun, because Sniffly knows. Because you've not got any great investment in it. If it goes wrong, it doesn't matter. And you're more likely then to sort of decide to customise it and freak around with it and stuff. Whereas if you buy some, 30 or 40 quid kit, you're less likely to want to try and risk ruining it by doing anything funky to it. So if you're ever stuck for something... I've got hair in my mouth. If you're ever stuck for something, just go and get yourself a little burner kit from your local hobby store. Oh, sad news. For those of us in the UK, I had occasion to go to my local Hobbycraft last week. I need to get a picture frame. And about a year ago, they'd started getting rid of all the model making stuff, and they were saying, yeah, we're just going to stop doing model making stuff. So I was speaking to the manager of my local store, and they were like, yeah, we've kind of been told to cut back on the model stuff now. And then after a little while, I guess enough people said, please don't do that. That I went in and they said, oh no, we're actually not going to do that now. We are going to stop model making stuff, because it's it's a quick place for me to go and get Tamiya primer and Tamiya paints and things like that. It's only just down the road, so it's really handy for me for Tamiya stuff and some other bits and bobs. So I was like, brilliant, excellent, fantastic. And then I went in last week, and their entire model section is now one shelf, one little shelf, and it's this paltry selection of a few Airfix kits, a handful of Tamiya kits, and a load of Revell kits. And then they've got a small selection of Tamiya paints and a whole rack of Humbrol paints, which I'm not going to get anyway. So it's that's a bit sad, really. It's a bit rubbish. I mean, as long as I can still go there and get me Humbrol rattle can varnish, or my Tamiya thinners, and the occasional Tamiya paint, then it's not so bad.
But that kind of place is great for, you know, picking up a burner kit. That's my point. I was getting to that. That's a great place to go for picking up like burner kits. Just, you know, weekend projects, things you can just spend a week doing before you get to your next proper project. Let's have a look. What's happening? The LD says he's seen lots of Robin Red chests today. Oh yeah. It's great to have the internet when in doubt, says Tony Blackwell. Name for the asp equals Cleopatra's bosom. Oh yeah. Heaving bazooms. I get it, Cleopatra's bosom. Yeah, I get that. I like that. I don't think anybody's beating a can of whoop asp yet though. So come on. Best efforts forward. See if you can beat that. Maybe seeing the last of these Sundays. The other chef is leaving work. I wonder who will be getting dragged in on my day off, says the LD. Yay, Sunday morning cartoons with Fox, says Palmer Zero. Hey, Palmer. There you go. Sunday morning cartoons. That's actually, what was that from? Two Stupid Dogs. That was that one from Two Stupid Dogs. I remember that from many, many years ago. Yeah. Oh, I've got sanding detritus all over my hands because they're kind of sticky and sweaty. Yeah, gross. Right, where's the destructions? Und now for the gluing. Ja, das ist richtig. You know when you're old when your doctor looks like a child, says Tony Blackwell. Yeah. Hi, about those sweaty hands, what's your room temperature, says Pedro T. Damn hot. I don't know. I don't have a thermometer. But before anybody says anything, this is the UK. We don't do air conditioning. We have openable windows. Unfortunately, that normally helps unless you've got 2 desk lamps, overhead lights, big spotlights, 2 computer monitors and a computer monitor running OBS and streaming to YouTube with the fan going like a screaming banshee. Doesn't really help. And an iPad. Doesn't make any difference. But we don't do air conditioning. Nate Bliss, I bought a HOTAS for the Elite soon after buying the game. Those mouse control were killing me. Yeah, doing it on the controller, you've got like pitch and yaw and roll. But then if you want to do strafing, you have to click the stick in. It's an alternative thing. And it's like, oh, doing that to land in a spaceport was such a pain in the bum. I just got the HOTAS. Now I've got thrust. And then I've got forward and back. I've got pitch, yaw, and roll. I mean, no, hang on. I've got to think of it now. Pitch, yaw, and then roll for the stick doing that. And the thrust hit's perfect. And lateral is 2 buttons on the thrust handle. So I'm like, I just need to figure a solution now so I can sit in my chair with looking at my telly and be comfortable. Because at the moment, I've got my HOTAS stick on like a lap tray on my lap and it's not very comfortable. So I've ordered a little collapsible table thing that hopefully might make that a little easier. Right, so we need to apply some parts now. Parts appliage. So we need this piece here, you see, like this, you see. And it needs to be that way around, as far as I can tell. And these bits need to go in here. Like, not like that. Need to go on here, like that. What do I say? What do I say? That's most jolly. Is that how it's supposed to go on? Yeah, it looks about right. Just need to get some of that flash off the edge. So I'll get those on. And the beauty is, again, it's Tamiya extra thin, so I can put the parts on first and then glue them in place. Because Tamiya extra thin. If you've never used the Tamiya extra thin, as I explain this every time, but I constantly will, it's a welding cement. So it actually melts the plastic, and the plastic then unmelts and fuses together. So it's not just an adhesive glue, it's actually welding the plastic together. So instead of having 2 pieces of plastic held together by some kind of adhesive, you actually end up with 1 piece of plastic, essentially. And it's also a lot cleaner than other thicker cements. Because when it dries, it just flashes away. All the solvents flash off, and you're not left with really much residue at all. There you go, that's that done. Oops, splosh. And you can also use it to get rid of if you've got a slightly rough surface where you've sanded it, for example, like here, there's little bits of greeble in there, you can just run it down there and it will melt those little tiny flecks away whilst leaving the sort of the surface detail there. So it's also a good clean up glue. I shouldn't really whistle that because I'm just gonna I'm setting off the dog next door, which you can probably hear. Sorry about that. And I don't want to get the video pulled. Right, this needs to go on the back somehow. It needs to go in there. Goes in there like that, you see. Excellent. Now what I might do here, because we've got some big joints here and big joints here, I could use the extra thin, but it does flash off quite quickly. So what I'm going to do, this is where you can mix and match. What I'm going to do is, forget how that went on, like that. Not like that, like that. So that goes on there. So what I can do is just start it off with a blob of this stuff. Not too much, I don't want too much on there. Then put that on. That'll help it stick a little bit. This is just regular Tamiya cement. It's the same stuff, it's just thicker. Still a welding cement. And then now that's on there, because if I'd done the extra thin, by the time I put this together it may have evaporated off and flashed away. So now I can just go in with the extra thin and get handy with that. Get it down here where the join is. Because it's thin, it'll get sucked into the gap. I hope I'm on camera, by the way. Sucked into the gap. Mind the gap. And we should be hunky-dory there. Bit of a squish, if you wish. There we go, that's that on. And then this front part goes on like this, you see. There we go. You've got two little nubs on there, and they go in there, thusly. Beautiful, beautiful. Again, I might do a little bit of the thicker here. Just, oops, not that much. The thick stuff comes in handy when you've got either a big flat area that you need to glue. Again, because by the time you get the piece manoeuvred into place, your extra thin may have evaporated off. So if you've got a big flat area, like two big flat pieces you need to glue together, or just something smaller like that, but where as soon as if you put it on, it's going to fall off. So the thick glue sticks it down a little bit, and then I can go in with the thin glue to cement it properly. That's that bit on that. I know it's like ducting, but it makes me think of like some 1980s thick Aran sweater or something. Like some kind of folk singer sweater. And they set sail from Liverpool, never to return. Or something, I don't know. So that's that bit glued together. So let that sit for a moment. Let's have a look at the chat and have a swig of the coffee. Coffee swiggage. I do live near one, says Chris the Pyro. I assume a hobby shop or model shop, but I can buy like 3 Gunpla kits or about 1/3 of a Space Marine. Yeah, I mean go for what you can afford, but it depends if you want a big project or if you want just something quick to keep you. If you've got a project in mind in the future and you just want something to tide you over, sometimes it's better to go for lots of little cheap things, because that could keep you going for weeks rather than one big expensive thing. That's why I ordered that ST Zaka. It was like £8. Kick ass. Well, I say near, says Chris. It's like about 45 minutes on the train. Train, I say. Comedy hands, guy, says Chris. Yeah, yes. Reese says, surly sweatiness is good. It's like wet sanding. Oh, yeah. Except, yeah, it's more mingy. Smells more. Ha, found a pot of Citadel Skull White paint. Not used it in years. It's like curdled milk, says Chris the Pyro. Put some water in, give it a stir, good as new. I've been known to take a walk around Tesco just for the air conditioning, says Tony Blackwell. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Foxx, I just got here. What kitty you're doing, says Doug Schramm. Welcome, Doug. I'll go through my introduction again anyway for anyone that's joined since we did the start of the thing. We are building. This is Warhammer Sunday, where so I can get on with other builds and other things during the week when there's not building work going on. I'm building my Warhammer army on Sundays. On the weekends, my weekends is my Warhammer army times. I'm building up a Warhammer army, which is going to be themed on the Principality of Zeon from the Mobile Suit Gundam universe. So I've got loads of figures and my Marines and my Marines. I've got some Space Marines and I've got some Imperial Guard and I've got my Tempestus Sounds. None of them painted. I'm just building them up, and each Sunday I'll come along and I'll just work on them. Whatever I'm doing, if I'm building or I'm painting or whatever I'm doing, I'll just have a stream and hang out with you guys. At the moment, we are working on the first of my Imperial Knights. If you don't know what an Imperial Knight is, it's one of them dudes. I will have at least 3 Imperial Knights in my Principality of Zeon army. One will be painted up to look like a Zaku, will be battered and rusted and beaten. One will be painted up to look like a Goof, so it won't be quite as battered and rusted up, and it will be blue. And one will be painted up as Char's Zaku, which will be nice and spanky and red and clean. And there's about 3 dogs outside barking their heads off, and it's driving me nuts. I don't know if you can hear them, but it's really annoying. So at the moment we're working on the first of my Imperial Knights, which will be a bog standard Zaku, and will be based on the Knight Errant, which will have a melter gun, and instead of the chainsword it'll have a slappy hand like that. So that's what we're working on at the minute. I've done the legs last week. I'm just working on the torso now. If you have just joined us and you are watching anywhere except my YouTube channel and you can't see the live chat, do come along and join in the live chat. It's a great time. I'll be giving some stuff away later on. I've got some stickers and a Warhammer journal to give away to people in chat. I've got some stickers and there'll be a giveaway of the journal to everybody. But do come and join in the chat. Everybody joins in. It's a great time. Everybody has fun. There's lots of silliness. If you're watching somewhere and there isn't chat, just click on the YouTube icon in the bottom right hand corner of the viewer. It's around here somewhere, the little YouTube icon, and that'll take you to the YouTube page where you can see the stream and the live chat. So join in and have fun. Ask me questions. If you are watching and you'd like to ask me a question, the chat is here so I can see it. Just put your question in big fat capital letters so I can see it, because I can't look at the chat all the time. But if you'd like to, there is down here at the bottom somewhere a little $sign. That's just the super chat button. Just click on that and it'll put your comment in a big colourful box, and then I'll see that. There's no way I can miss that, but that's completely optional. You don't have to do that. Right, where are we up to? I need to ask you a question, says James. Wish me luck, says Grenelle Dupre. I have to gloss varnish. Now, for the joke we made at the start of the chat about the Nubicorn, the curse of the Nubicorn, if you go into the Boom Hut Discord, for those that don't know, I also have a group on Facebook called the Model Makers Boom Hut, facebook.com/groups/Model Boom Hut. It's a great place to hang out. Anyway, there's a Discord for that group, and various members of us were expressing how something always goes wrong when you're building a unicorn, whether it's real grade, perfect grade, master grade or high grade. Something always goes wrong because it's a pain in the bum kit. It's like a beautiful model, but it's evil. It deliberately does things wrong. And we've come up with this idea of the curse of the Nubicorn, that if you're in any kind of group or even just working by yourself, if you're working by yourself, something on that unicorn will go wrong. You'll lose a piece, you'll break a piece, something will go wrong. Or if you're in a group and one of you is building a unicorn, then everybody in that group will suffer some kind of mishap to whatever they're building. Even if it's only one of the group is building a unicorn, everybody else will have problems. So if, you know, person A is building a unicorn and person B is making a Sherman tank and the decals go a bit wrong on the Sherman tank, it's the curse of the Nubicorn. It was called the Nubicorn because I think the one that started it was a master grade, and it's like 1 million parts and they've all got nubs, and it's a pain. It's a real life-draining experience to take all the nubs off it. So it became known as the Nubicorn, and then it became the curse of the Nubicorn. So if you're in a group and anybody's building a unicorn, run. Don't do any work until they've finished it, because then the curse passes. That's what we decided anyway. It's not quite as funny when you explain it. Good luck, may the gloss soothe the wrath of the Nubicorn, says Nim. Good luck, says Tony Blackball. It's Nubicron, get Optimus Primer, says James. No, wait, is it Rodimus Primer? Two Stupid Dogs, I love that show, says Reese. The other dog one, there was one called Cat Dog. They said, what's the other one? There was a series called Cat Dog. I only ever saw one of those. There was also Courage the Cowardly Dog, which was quite good. Courage the Cowardly Dog. I can't remember now. But they were all good cartoons. They were kind of beyond my cartoon age. They were more like 90s things, and I was kind of not really watching cartoons at that point. That was all the kind of Ren and Stimpy era. And I have to say, I was never into the kind of Crick-Falusi style, Ren and Stimpy style cartoons. They were just too over the top for me. I didn't really like those. But I did like stuff like, one of my favourite cartoons from the 90s is Rocko's Modern Life. Rocko's Modern Life. That was great. It's just so... They were like when they used to make cartoons for kids, but they were also kind of for adults as well. Rocko's Modern Life was brilliant. And they're redoing it. They made one set today and it had like an Apple store and stuff. TK's in. Hey TK. Hello. Welcome. The Crazy Viking is in with his banhammer. Don't mess him around in the chat. He will ban your ass. There was a dog show where they were made humanoid to fight bad guys. Can't remember the name there. There was one called Dog City, which wasn't very good. It was like a detective. It was an Alsatian. Just run out and scream at the dogs. I'm going to eat you all. More ha ha ha. My orange chicken friends. Beef on a stick, says Palmer Zero. Now, we've got some dogs that live around us, and it's like, it's not the dog's fault. Let's just be honest. It's the owners. If you live in a house, here's my thing. Here's my house. Here's the house the dog lives at. There's like next door but one. There's a house here. There's a house in the middle. Okay. I live here. Dog owner lives here. Dog goes in the garden. Non-stop. Non-stop. All day. All day. And it has the stupidest bark of it. It's like all day long. And I sit here and I'm seething because it distracts me and I can't hear it perfectly. And yet the people who own the dog in the house don't do anything. They don't come out and shout at it. They don't bring in it. They just, it's as if they're not in. But I know they're in. So, are they deaf? Can they not hear their own dog? Do they have a soundproof house? It drives me nuts. Oh, if it's annoying me, how can it not annoy the person that owns the dog? It's like, oh. Plus, it's not a proper dog. It's a little yappy dog. I don't do little yappy dogs. Little yappy dogs aren't real dogs. Real dogs are big dogs. Labradors and Alsatians, German Shepherds and big things. They're dogs that can be your best mate for life. Little yappy dogs are just handbag dogs. They're just pointless. Looks like a pilot chair. I like that. Looks like something out of the Matrix. Or maybe it's something on a hive ship out of Stargate Atlantis. It's like an ancient control chair. Yeah, cool. Invaders. Reese mentions Invader Zim, but for some reason types Invader Zimbabwe. That might be something else completely. How you doing, TK, by the way? Don't know what Invader Zim was. Chris the Parrot. I grew up in the weird part of the early 2000s where it wasn't the 90s anymore, but it was like the early 2000s yet either, so it was like a weird mix of both. Yeah. When I was a kid and growing up in the 80s, I used to hate the 70s. When it was the 90s, I used to think the 80s were terrible. Then when I was in the 2000s, I used to think the 90s were terrible. And now I'm in the 2010s. I think the 70s and well, hang on, start again. The 90s and 2000s were terrible. The 70s were fantastic, and the 80s were all right. As you get older, you get fonder for the early days. I said Nubicron and made Transformers jokes. It's Nubicorn, says James. Yeah, we'll forgive you. Eat the people then, lol, says Palmer Zero. We now have 2 of those yappy dogs in the street. They bark at every atom that passes by. Yay, sigh, says TK. Yeah, it's just... I say it's not so much that the dog is annoying. It's just that the owners... If I'm sitting in the house and I'm annoyed by it and I'm 3 houses away, how can they be sat in their house watching telly or doing whatever they're doing and not be going, oh, God, the dog's barking again. Can we just shut it up? Can we just, like, drop a piano on it or burn it with a flamethrower or explode it with TNT or just... shoot it or something? I don't know how they can ignore an annoying repetitive dog bark. I just have no understanding of it. It's doing it again now. I don't know if you can hear it. You probably can't. Anyway, that's my old man ranting. I should stop doing that. What's next? That's why I like cats, says Nim. They just silently judge you. The beauty of dogs and cats is I'm a dog person and I love dogs. Unfortunately, I'm far too lazy to have a dog because I really can't be asked taking them outside to go and do pooping and stuff and go for walks. My rule is that a dog will love you no matter who you are. It's unconditional love. A cat will love you because you have food in the cupboard it can eat, and really it's only with you to get to the food that happens to be in your cupboard that it happens to be able to eat. So it's dogs. I do like cats, but I would much rather have a dog. Right, I need to do something now. So I need 106, 106. This is going to be more of those parts where I have to glue on attachment points for armour without being able to attach the armour. And now I've got it right. So 106, that's 105, that's 106. 106, ooh, little hair on there. That's the wrong twig. I'm using the wrong nippers. 106, ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk. Plink. Oh, lots of... That's a really thick nub. That's a nub the size of a house. I'm not using my god hands on that. Some of the nubs on this are a bit ridiculous. It's got to be said. Do. But if I did have a dog, it'd be a proper dog. Proper big dog. A dog that can be your best mate. It's just, I don't really like little farty dogs. They just don't, they're just annoyances. A big dog can be noble and friendly and your mate, and a little yappy dog is just like, why have you got this chihuahua or little terrier thing or whatever it is? It's like, they really are just pointless creatures. Give me a big dog anytime. Oh, that was hard. 109 and 108. Now I made the mistake last time doing the legs of cutting off two of these little joint parts that you can't see because that's in the way. Two little joint parts that the armour attaches to, and then not realising which was which. I'm going to do them one at a time. So we'll do 109 first. 109. It's very warm and sweaty in here. I may be shedding several pounds. I may end this stream lighter than when I started. That's 109. 109. Where'd it go? There it is. There's not enough space on this desk when I'm streaming. I normally put my instructions there, but that covers up the chat, so special. Ooh, nice cool breeze again. Yay, Team Dog, says Chris. Team Dog. My wife got bit by a dog yesterday, not bleeding but scared and scratched by the teeth, and when I talked to the owner he said it was her fault and she wasn't even near his yard. I'm still mad. Some people just shouldn't have dogs. Sadly. I mean, you know, you get bad dogs. You do get bad dogs, but there are people who just shouldn't be allowed to have a dog. Let's get rid of the seam line, apart from there's lots of little dimples, so I can't use the seam line removal tool. I shall use my blade instead. There may be seam lines ahead, but not for long, cause I'll scrape them away with my knife. And something that rhymes with knife. I have no idea what I'm doing. It's the heat getting to me. I've got the heat crazies. I'm a bird person. I have a Quaker parrot. I've not seen you on a stream, Lynn, yet, but I'm led to believe your parrot is quite vocal, quite chatty. I like birds. I do like birds. Birds are cool. Like I say, I like watching the wood pigeons that come in our garden because they're just dumb. They're just epically dumb. But in a funny kind of way. That's that bit. That's 109. Remember, chat, 109. Don't let me forget it's 109. I can also see the screen from here without taking my visor off. I have Basset Hounds. They're great. Yeah, Basset Hounds kind of count as... They're not big dogs, but they're not little yappy dogs either, so you get away with that. Because they're kind of slow, dopey things, and they're kind of lovable and loving, so Basset Hounds count. I hope that was a nub I cut off there and not something I needed to keep. I have no way to know for sure. It looked like a nub. Yeah, it was a nub. Yeah, whatever. We'll find out.
Yeah, Basset Hounds are fine. Basset Hounds count. They're legal. You're alright. It's like your little Yorkshire Terriers and your little yappy things and your handbag dogs and pointless creatures. Honestly, if you're going to get a dog that's just that you can look cool at the park throwing a frisbee. Dog that would be your best mate if life was a Hollywood movie. A dog that if it could sit and talk, it would join you at the bar and have a pint. It wouldn't be sipping a little delicate cocktail. Model making puppy shuts them up with her bark and she stops barking when we tell her to, says TK. TK has model making puppy, a big old German Shepherd. She's gorgeous. And I can never remember her name because it's like some Viking name that I can never remember, like Thorfinn or Jorven or... but it's model making puppy works for me. It's like Wultan or Wultan, I think. Woden. Might be Woden. Something like that. A Norse name that I can't remember because they're all quite similar. But yeah, model making puppies, cool. See, I would love a dog, but like I say, I'm just far too lazy. I'd want a dog to be able to be like a Hollywood dog in a movie where it's so intelligent you could just tell it to do something and it does it and it knows. That kind of intelligence. That's what I want. And that's not really a thing, sadly. Never mind. Wrong one. I had two favourite dogs when I was growing up. A black lab named Cindy and my uncle's dog, Colonel, half chow chow, half wolf. Cool, that sounds like confused. Medium to large, then you have horse dogs. If you can kick it over a fence, it's not a dog but lunch. Says Palmer Zero. Yeah, if you can kick it over a fence, it's not a dog but bait. Lynn Dipple says he is. You need to come visit. He talks throughout the show. Yeah, cool. Does he swear like a trooper? Because then it's not a real parrot if he doesn't swear. You got to teach him to swear like a trooper. Oh, apologies. Real sniffly nose. Basset Hounds and Beagles. Yeah, they count. They're not really yappy dogs. I had a Quaker as my best buddy, but he died last year. So, I'm sorry to hear that, says Nate Bliss. Sorry to hear that, Nate. What's a Quaker? Tell me what a Quaker is. I don't know what that is. A dog, in terms of dog. I don't know what kind of dog that is. He used to steal my bamboo skewers. Woden, you got it right. Cool. I knew it was something like that. I just prefer, puppy dog. Model making puppy. My experience with little yappy dogs as well is that, like, as big dogs get older, they become more dumb and therefore become more adorable. Little yappy dogs just start off as vicious little shits and stay as vicious little shits all the time. And just, can't be doing with them. Also, I have to say, this is no reflection if any of you have little yappy dogs, but everybody I know has little yappy dogs. They're not normal people. They're not nice people. The people I know have little yappy dogs. They're not good people. So maybe it's something about the owners of such dogs. Needs to be sanded down a little bit. Now I'm getting rid of all these seam lines, but I'm not really sure which parts you don't see once it's glued on. Probably all of this is covered up and glued together, so I could be absolutely wasting my time here getting rid of these seam lines. But seam line removal tool does make it wonderfully easy and quick, so it's not a biggie. If you've not got one of these seam line removal tools, I do recommend it. It gets rid of your seam lines, but without gouging the plastic like a knife blade would do, because it's not flexible. It's solid and rigid. I think it's actually cooling down in here a little bit. That's nice.
Oh, a Quaker parrot is a bird, Fox, says Lynn. Oh, right, okay, got you. I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know what kind of parrot a parrot is. I don't know. I don't know my parrot genera, families, whatever. I thought Quakers were supposed to be quiet. That seemed like a really bad choice of a name for a type of parrot. One of these parrots aren't is quiet and restrained. Oops. How old is your parrot, Lynn? Is it going to live to like 70? Eat your oatmeal, says James Lorimore. Man, I am so addicted to peanut butter and jam sandwiches right now. Which I'm going to keep calling peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because it's an American invention. They named it peanut butter and jelly. I'm so hooked on them right now. A month ago I hated peanut butter with a vengeance. Now I just can't get enough of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. PB and J. I had some just before I came on air. Yeah, this is not very exciting. I might not get much done this time, folks, because it's all these kind of really big fiddly edges. Sorry, I'm late. Have I missed out? Says Mike Mountain. Hey, Mike, welcome along. No, just lots of sanding. We've talked about some video games. We've bitched about small dogs. Get it? Bitched. Bitched about dogs a little bit. And pet owners who are rubbish. Pet owners. We talked about 1990s cartoons. I've done lots of seams. You've not missed the giveaway yet. Woohoo! Happy days. Which I shall do shortly. I'll get these two bits stuck together and the next bit. And then we'll take a little break while I shall read the comments. And we shall do the giveaway stuff. There was a knife but no stabbing, says Chris. So Mike, Dad, how was Orkney then? I know we talked to you anyway, but for anybody else, tell us of your times in Orkney. Was it a wonderful place? I suspect it was. I suspect you had a great time. That goes like that. Okay, these do just go in. Okay, that's cool. That's alright. Put my glue behind the instructions. Your spoon. Do you check your messages? Says Mike. Which message you mean on Facebook? Not while I'm streaming because it's on the PC. I can have a look. One sec. I shall check in a moment when we take a little chat break. If you've sent me a message. 109 I've done. I need 108. 108. 108? I'm just guessing now. I'm hoping I'm right. 108. Mike Mount, John Morgan says the Citadel mold line remover from Element Games in the UK is £9. I would say if you're in the market to get a Citadel seam line remover and you want one and they're selling it for £9, then yes, go and snap that up because it's normally like 16 quid. It's a very good tool, but Citadel seems to have a very strange idea about how to price things. I understand how they price their actual models. That kind of makes sense. But as to how they price their tools, £8 for a pair of tweezers. No. £17 for the... £20 for the pin vise for drilling. Maybe it's a bit more practical, that one. It's a bit more understandable. But this thing, I think this is actually about 13 quid. It's not, but this is the one tool I would say of their collection is worth having. I mean, seriously, don't buy the tweezers at 8 quid or whatever they are. They're ridiculous. Just buy it at some tweezers. They're not even little. They're not even needle nose tweezers. They're just big flat nail tweezers. They're not worth it. But this thing, definitely worth whatever you pay for it. And the pin vise is quite good, and all the bits are actually the right size for things like bolter barrels. I'm right in the middle of the screen, am I? Bolter barrels and things like that. So they are
That's not bad, it's just a bit overpriced. I need to get that bit off there. Where's the other nub? Nub. Snip that little fella off there. Oops. No stability yet. Has to be noted. Cannot be denied. Okay, so there's no real seam lines on this apart from that bit. And there. Which is quickly fixed. And this is all going to vanish under the armour anyway. So never mind. And this needs to go on like... kapow. Like that, you see? Splonk. Go on, get on. There we go, that's that on. Little bit of the glue. And we are honky dory. Yeah, so I'm not going to bother magnetising any of these, really, because I'm not going to be having to swap weapons out. Because I have three different knights, and they'll all have a big happy slappy fist on one side, and a different weapon on each of them. So one will have a melter cannon, one will have a big Gatling gun, and one might have something else. I'll probably cover all my bases with all three of them anyway, and I'm not really that fussed to start magnetising. I would be putting some magnets in my Lehman Russes just so I can get them in the box, you know, so I can change the barrel out on that. Or I might not. I might just do lots of Lehman Russes, each with a different weapon. Right, so we'll leave that for a moment. I shall absorb the litre of coffee in my moustache. And we shall take a little tiny moment of rest and see what the chat's doing. So. I've rushed home and you might not get much done. Do you check? Oh, and I check my messages, don't I? Let me see if I can, without breaking. Let's have a look. Where's my phone? Where's my phone? Where is my phone? Hello? Oh, there it is. I'm just going to check my messages. Mike sent me a message, has he? Let's have a look and see. Where are we? Let's have a look and see. Let's have a look and see what Mike's been sending me. Oh, right, okay. Yes, I shall. You should have my address, Mike. Cool, he's got me some stuff. Yay! I'll ping it over to you in a bit. Very shortly. It should be in... oh, maybe not. Maybe not. I thought it was in the Smooth group. In the cave. Should be in there, I think. Have a look. If not, I'll ping it over in a bit. Let's have a look. Bucket list job, mate, with the best tour guide there is. Go, 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 says Mike. This morning. Sent you a PM this morning. Oh, yes, I probably just haven't been into my messages for a few hours. You mean a wee break, says Lynn. No, I don't need to go for a wee. I'm sweating so much, I won't need to go for a wee for about 2 days. Hey, Fox, speed Zakus. Speed Zakus. What does that mean? What does that mean? Tim L. Speed Zakus. Oh, Spees Zakus. What's a Spees? I mean Spes Zakus. Yes, Spes. I should get me a pin vice at some point, says Chris Pyro. Yeah, you can get Citadel to do one. The good thing about the Citadel one is that the one I've got that's not Citadel, it has the chuck at both ends. So if you're using one end and you're doing that with it, the chuck at this end unthreads and it just comes off and you're like, oh. The Citadel one has a little sort of bobble at the end, so you can hold it like that and turn it, but the bobble at the end doesn't come off. So I do like that part of the design. Fox only wakes up at 2:30 PM, says Chris at Gross Models. No, I've been up since early. I've just been doing other stuff. I've not really been on Facebook too much this morning. The second you buy a pin vice, says Nate Bliss, you have an unkillable urge to drill holes in all things. It's true. It's true. I got a pin vice when I did my 72nd scale U-boat.
You do. You just want to start drilling holes in things all over the place. Balaclava Bob says, afternoon all. Welcome, Balaclava Bob. Speaking of expensive kit, seen a beautiful Damascus steel chef's knife. It's only £180, says the Earl D. Wow. You'd have to cook some good stuff to have that knife. Chris the Pyro says he's sitting with 3 different websites open, just looking at Gunpla kits at the moment. Don't forget, eModels do them now. emodels.co.uk. Yeah. Yup, do, says Mike Mountain. So Mike also says everyone go to Orkney. Yes, everyone go to Orkney and everyone go round to Scott's house and ask him for a cup of tea. See what he does when 200 of you turn up. Hi. There's only about 3 people in Orkney anyway, so if you just knock on any door, you're bound to get Scott. So, what are we doing? 180 quid for a knife? I mean, it's going to be a very good knife. It's for cutting my cheese on toast, says the Earl D. Wow, that's definitely a good use of 180 space pounds, that is. Money well spent. I'm thinking either a GM or a Zaku. Ooh, don't know. I don't know. Zaku's got more armor surface area to play with. But a GM's kind of like a poor man's strike in a way. It's got that kind of curve and shape to it that I quite like. I do like the GMs. Fox, how do I make my iPad chat full screen? If you go to on your YouTube page, if you've got YouTube here and you've got the chat here, there should be 3 dots at the top of the chat window. Click on that and one of them will say pop out chat. That'll pop it into a new pad, into a new tab, and you'll have a whole tab just for chat. There you go. Depending on if you're, depending on if you're in the app or in the actual YouTube website. This is through you might not get it if you go in the app. I'm actually in Chrome in the website desktop version, and then you click on the chat window at the top, the little 3 buttons. It should say pop out chat. Don't think I can give up my Japanese knives, says the Earl D. Oh well, Japanese knives, no, they are the best. But you do have to make sushi at some point. If you're going to get Japanese knives, you have to make sushi. It's kind of the law. It's kind of written in the contract. You have to make sushi. Coffee time. Coffee. If I ever win an award, my acceptance speech will be, I'd like to thank coffee. I do already have 6 GMs, HG GMs, if you count the Pale Rider as a GM or not. I'm not familiar with the Pale Rider. Are you looking at HG GMs or are you looking at Master Grade GMs? Because if you've got 6 HGs, you need a Master Grade. I've got a GM ground type that I need to do at some point. I actually bought that one from eModels. I didn't get sent it them because if I'm doing a video for eModels, they send me the kit and the stuff I need to do it. I don't need to buy it, but that one's actually one I bought. But I might do them a video using that. I did threaten Pete and say basically, you do know I'm going to have to do like a YouTube video for you guys with a Gunpla. Scott's mum cooks a mean Orkney beef steak, says Mike Mountain. I shall go and get in the car now because beef. The only word in that sentence that I need to know about is the word beef. I like the Zakus, but I'm starting to like the GMs. You can't go wrong with a Zaku, but you kind of want a GM as well. It's like the Federation version of a Zaku, basically. Hello, says Faisal. Hi, Faisal. Welcome. PB and J. Nom, says Reese. Ricky Leon says hi. Hi, Ricky. Faisal says, what did I miss? I stuck that together. And I stuck that together. And I did lots of sanding and denubbing. You can tell by the debris here. And I'm sweating cobs because it's cooling down a bit now. But it was really warm in here earlier on. It's a beautiful day here in sunny northwest England. So it's a bit warm in here with all the lights and the computer on. I don't have the 3 dots. I have the iPad mini. Are you in the YouTube app or are you in a website? Are you in the website version of the YouTube? Are you on your browser like Safari or are you actually in an app? Because I don't use the app. James Lorimore says, go for a Zaku if you've got 6 or 7 GMs. You miss Foxx doing his Zaku's impression using only contemporary dance moves. Yeah, sorry about that. Me and interpretive dance were like that. I won awards for my interpretive dance. Watch this one. Hang on. It's amazing. Look, you can't see it, can you? Well, you'd lose out. You're on the website. So you should have the screen here with the me talking. So minimise your screen so it's not full screen. So you've got me talking here in the screen. I've actually had it open in the tab and I closed it. I can't open it because I can't stream and watch the stream at the same time. It'll kill my broadband. But you have the screen here with me talking, hands, comedy hands, and the chat should be here. Now, not the 3 dots in the corner here that I've got because that's my browser, that's Chrome. But in the chat thing, there should be some dots in the top right corner. And if you click on it, on those 3 dots, not in the browser, but on the chat window, one of them should say, pop out chat. If you're not getting that, I don't know. I don't know why. It's too hot here in Kuwait. Pretty much I would guess it would be. Your tub. I beg your pardon. Oh, your tube. My YouTube. Go on YouTube, Lynn. Yeah. Oh, hang on. Where are you actually watching it? Are you watching it on YouTube or are you watching it through Facebook or through Patreon? Tell me where you're actually watching it. Are you in? Did you like click on it in Facebook or in Patreon or from Twitter or something like that? Because you need to be on actually the YouTube, on the Model Making Guru YouTube channel, watching it on YouTube. I can pop a link in the chat. Through the tubes. So you've... Okay, that's weird. I'm at a loss then in that case. There should be some options above the chat window, in the chat box itself. Evening, sorry I'm late, but I had to do the gardening with the wife, says Adam Clark. Welcome, Adam. Can't you just use like a spade or a hose pipe or something like most people? Your wife is not a gardening tool. Just remember that. Right, we've got another one of these to do now, folks. That's not going to be exciting. Let's get another one of these done. How long have we been going? We're going for an hour and a half. Let's do the giveaways. We'll get the giveaways done. Because I don't know how long I'm going to go on for today, because it is incredibly warm in here. So let's do some giveaways. Yay! Giveaway times. I get the 3 dots, but no expand screen. I don't understand. It should just say, literally will say, it should, when you click on the 3 dots, it should give you some, like 3 or 4 options, and one of them should say pop out chat. But if not, I don't know. I'm stuck. Right. Anyway, just means you can look at my comedy hands while you're in the chat. Okay, so we have some stickers. We have some Model Making Guru, some Skipper Scale models that I've still got a few of, and some Team Inept stickers to give away, which are now covered in plastic shavings. Way! And I also I've got another Warhammer journal, which you can win for yourself. And as I showed it before, it's just a nice empty rule journal, so you can go in and write all your obscenely scrawly, unreadable handwriting and secret things that nobody can read, because that's what our handwriting is like. The one thing I've learned is creative types like us, we can paint things really nicely, but we can't write neatly for anything really. So let's do some stickers first of all. So I've got to think of some questions now. So let's have a look. Right. Sticker, says Lynn Dipple. So we're going to do 3 questions for stickers. I need the Sharpie of Sharpies. Sharpie. Now I've got to think of 3 stickers. We'll do the 3 stickers now. Okay, before we do these, if you're watching and you're say not on the YouTube page, or if you're watching this through Facebook or Patreon or Twitter or anywhere else I've posted it up, and you've not got the chat window, the one that Lynn can't get open and can't expand, you need to be in the chat for this. So click on the little YouTube icon on the bottom right of the screen, which is down here somewhere. That'll take you to the YouTube page where you can see the chat and you can join in, and you should be in the chat because it's crazy fun. I'm going to ask a question, and then when I say go, the first answer that I see that's the right answer will win some stickers. And Don't forget, of course, that I see the chat differently to you guys. I see the chat based on the first answers that YouTube receives. So you'll see it tailored to you, but you'll see it on screen here anyway. You can see what comes through. So I've got to think of some questions now. Oh, right. Let's have a think. Let's have a think. Okay, first question. Now, don't answer till I say go. Actually, no, I can't ask that one. Let's think of something else. I've got to think of questions now. Oh. Right, okay, here we go. Nice and simple one. I'm making the Imperial Knight. James Lorimore says, what does Super Chat mean? What does it do? Super Chat is that little $sign there. All it means is it pops your question up in a little coloured box, so it makes your question like big and massive on the screen. It's all in colours. It's completely optional. It's like £1 or £2, I think. It's like it's a way of donating to the channel, but you get a comment and it's all in a big blue box or a red box or green box, and it pops up. It's just an extra way to help support this channel. Don't forget, of course, anybody, if you don't know, I'm on Patreon. It's here somewhere, patreon.com/modelmakingguru. If you'd like to help support this channel, keep it going, keep the lights on. So anyway, yes, first question. I am making the Imperial Knight. I'm making at least 3 of them, and I'm going to make them look like certain mobile suits from the Mobile Suit Gundam universe. List one of the mobile suits I'll be recreating with one of these knights. Go. There you go. Let's see who comes first through first. I rattled off 3 different mobile suits that I'm going to initially base 3 of them on. Okay, there we go. First one in, Palmer 0, Zaku 2. Zaku's for near enough. That will do, Zaku 2. So Palmer 0, well done. That was very fast. Didn't expect that one to take long. So Palmer 0, brilliant. I will put my address in the chat window. Not my actual address, obviously, because that would be crazy. And if you win a sticker, by the way, all you need to do is send me an email to modelmakingguru@gmail.com. I've put that in the chat for you. So just pop an email to there, modelmakingguru@gmail.com, and just put in your name and address, and I'll get some stickers sent off to you. So well done, that's one done. Can't think of another one now. Second question. Got to think of a question. It's really hard actually coming up with a question off the top of my head. I should plan this, really. I should plan this. Okay. Here's a question. This may require some Googling. And it's not relevant to anything we're doing here today. I'm just picking questions out at random. I think this was in 2012, but a few years ago, movie director James Cameron did a dive to a very deep part of the ocean and was like the second person to go that deep after Jacques Picard. Where did he dive to in his own sort of homemade submarine? Where did he go? It was a specific place he dived to the bottom to. Where did he go? There you go. Give it a minute for Googling. James Cameron, deep ocean dive. He got down to 27,000 feet, I think 7 miles down, something like that. Where did he go? Bam, there we go. Balaclava Blob. Balaclava Blob. That's not very nice. Balaclava Bob says Challenger Deep. Yes, he is. A lot of you put Marianas Trench. It's in the Marianas Trench area, but it's part of that trench out system, but it's the Challenger Deep was where he went. He went to the bottom of the Challenger Deep. Yes, I don't know why I asked that question, but I just want to think of something desperately, and that came into my head. So, well done, Balaclava Bob. Not Blob. Sorry. Pop me again to modelmakingguru@gmail.com, your name and address, and I will whiz stickers over to you. What I'll do is I'll just... I think I've got enough for like everybody today to get at least one of each. So we'll do one of each. You'll all get... I think I've got 3 of these. We'll get like a skipper scale. Rather than one of you ask for one of these, and I'll just do one of each. If I've not got if I've not got enough of these, I'll pop one of the other ones, extra one in for you. Okay, well done, Balaclava Bob. I'm desperate too, says Palmer 0. I don't want to know about that, thank you very much. That's personal, that is. One more question. We'll do the time-honoured method. I'm going to write a number on my hand of hands. No number, you see. I'm going to write a number on my hand. And I want you to tell me what the number is. This number is between 23 and 33. What number is written on my hand between 23 and 33? Go. I've learnt not to give you like a 30 number range on this because it takes like half an hour. Bam! First one in. Diogenes 27. There you go. That took all of a second. Wow. Wow. So 27 Diogenes. I'm assuming I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. Diogenes, send me an email, modelmakingguru@gmail.com. It's in the chat if you scroll up with your name and address, and I'll get some stickers sent out to you. Fantastic. Now, that's the stickers given away. So, thank you for everybody that took part. Don't worry if you didn't get one. I'm sure there'll be more. We'll do this. We're going to be doing this every Sunday for years, because this is going to be a regular series now, because I have 1,000 people to paint, or I will have. I'm going to build like a 17,000 point army, so there'll be a lot of things for me to paint, and it's going to take a long time because I'm just doing it on Sundays and Saturdays. So don't worry if you didn't win a sticker. There are plenty more chances. Now, here's the big ticket item. Remember last week and the week before I did a giveaway for one of these journals. I've got another one to give away. I managed to swag another one. So, how do you win this journal? Now, you don't need to be in chat for this. This is going to be one where we pull the winner next week at random. And for this, all you need to do, if you want to win yourself this rather beautiful, it's all embossed and got like texture on it and stuff. If you'd like to win this rather gorgeous journal, as you can see, it's very nice. Please try and have writing neater than mine. Mine is not actually legible, apart from anybody but me. If you'd like to win this, all you need to do is, once this stream is finished, give it about 10 or 15 minutes, because it has to render. Give it about 10 or 15 minutes, and once this stream is finished, it'll then just be a normal video on my YouTube channel. It'll be in the on the front page. It'll be in the latest activity tab, or it'll be right at the top. Or if you go into playlist, it's in a playlist for this Warhammer Sundays anyway. Or just go into videos, and it'll be the latest video. All you need to do is put a comment on that video, and I will then next week pull a winner. Next Sunday, I'll pull a winner at random, and that person will win the spanky thing. So, what should we get you to write? Okay. If you want to win this journal, all you need to do is, when this stream is a video later on, I need you to add a comment to the video, and what I want you to put down is the funniest and silliest name you can think of for my Asp Explorer in Elite Dangerous. If you missed it before, I've got myself an Asp Explorer. My first ship was a Cobra, and I called it Cobra Yashi Maru. That's what it was called. So it was a pun on the word Cobra. I want a good funny name. Now, obviously, we've got a can of Whoop Asp earlier on. That's really good, but I want you to put down your ideas for names for the ship. It's got to be a play on the word Asp, or just silly. It's going to be stuck on the side of the ship. So I want a funny name for my Asp Explorer, and I will pick one at random next week. So go crazy. The funnier the better, because it's going to be the name of my ship in Elite Dangerous. And if you don't play Elite Dangerous, you need to go and play Elite Dangerous. So on the video, just write down in the comments what I should call my Asp Explorer. And I'll pick one next Sunday at random. I said next Monday then, that's E-Models. I'll pick one next Sunday at random, and you can win that. So, that's that done. Let me put those to one side. Like I said before, if you missed at the start, all the stickers from the last 3 shows have gone out. They've all been sent out now. All you chaps and chapesses in the UK who won stickers should now all have your stickers. Anybody outside the UK, they were sent out on, I think, Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, so they should be on the way if you've not had them already. Right, so bugger no sticker, says Lynn Dipple. Oh. James Lorimore, I didn't get any stickers either. There's always time. Don't panic. Don't panic. Keep doing the stream. For some reason, it's been good weather here when the stream's on. I know, it's brilliant, isn't it? I have that effect. Why are my replies always so slow to post to YouTube, says Jordan. Could just be your connection. The way I've got this set up is that it literally goes for, it shows them in the order that YouTube receives your comments. You don't. When you see them tailored to you, so your comments get priority. So it looks like you've done them straight away, and it pops up on your screen, but it could be 10 seconds before YouTube actually gets it and pops it up in the actual chat. So that's why I go off this. But I have tweaked the chat a bit, and I've tweaked the stream a bit, so it should be more real time now. But it could be your own connection that's a bit slow. But don't worry, there's plenty of time. We'll have hundreds more of these shows to do. Same here, I have chicken scratch. I don't know what that means. If you find you're a long way behind on the buffer, try refreshing or use the Chrome browser. Yeah, do use Chrome. Chrome's really good. The handy tip, because we do this on the eModels live stream as well, when we say it's time to do some giveaways, refresh your browser screen straight away. Then you'll be up to date. Because you'll get memory leak. When you're watching a stream for a long time, you get memory leak and things slow down and the live interaction gets slower. So whenever you're watching something, they have like a chat giveaway. As soon as they say, right, we're going to do a giveaway, hit refresh and then you'll be up to date then. There might still be some buffering in this stream, but hopefully less because I've tweaked the settings. Just try not to crash into a sun, says Richard Gibbs. Yes, I don't crash into the sun. Chris crashes into the sun quite a lot. Toasty warm here, says Zadster. 24 degrees inside, 30 in the sun. To the Americans, that's really warm because it's in degrees C. I need to go fire at the barbecue. Until next time, bye. Thanks for coming in, TK. Thanks for visiting. You're more than welcome. The joys of posting from Florida, I guess. Yeah. Lena Lepeu says, hello all. This is a great way to spend the Sunday. Thank you very much and welcome. I need to get a gaming laptop so I play Elite. Yeah, you don't want to play it on a laptop. It's quite... Well, it might work. I don't know. It might work. But you kind of need hundreds of keys and a mouse. Ideally, you want to play it with a controller if you're using it on a laptop. Even more ideally, you want a HOTAS flight stick. Trust me. It's a bit of an investment. What you want to do is get an Xbox, and then you can play it on that. Get an Xbox One or Xbox One X. Thanks, TK. Lies, says TK. Jordan Nash, I won one giveaway a year or so ago, never actually got the prize. Super sad about that. That's not good. I'm not even the Chris he was talking about, but I crash into the sun all the time too. Yeah, I meant the other Chris. Chris at Gross Models. You may well crash into the sun all the time. I don't. I know how to handle my throttle when I get to 7 seconds from my target. Right. Nim says, I have some steaks that I rubbed with some Chinese 5-spice that I'm going to cook and put in some ramen. Oh, I don't know what I'm having for tea, but it's not as exciting as that. Oh, yeah. Gaming laptops are a pain for overheating, said Sadster. I don't have room for a full-fledged computer, let alone an Xbox. Do you have a TV? Put the Xbox under that. Also, it's probably going to be cheaper than a big full-fledged gaming laptop. Just saying. It probably would work out cheaper. Thanks, you've just made me hungry, says Richard Gibbs. And I'm starving now. I am literally starving now. Somebody mentioned food and I instantly started getting really hungry. I have a PS4, says Lynn. Oh, we'll get it on PS4 then. There you go. You got a PS4, you don't need an Xbox. Get it on PS4. The only reason I said Xbox was there is an Xbox specific HOTAS flight stick that you can use for Elite. And if you use that, it kind of comes preset with all the stuff for Elite. I think there is a flight stick you can use on PS4. I don't know though. But yeah, if you've got a PS4, then you just go out and buy the game. You can play it on controller. If you've got a PS4, you've got a telly, you've got a cozy sofa, controller, bit of Elite Dangerous. Yeah. Just a word of warning, it is more of a sim game than an action-adventure game. It's not thrilling adventures all the time. Sometimes it is just flying from A to B and dropping off cargo. But it's like European Truck Simulator in space. But it's very good. It's very good. I mean, who doesn't want to whiz around a simulation of the Milky Way, a 1-to-1 scale simulation of the Milky Way with over 400 billion stars in it? I mean, who doesn't want that? If I remember rightly, it's something like 160,000 actual real-life star systems in the game, in the galaxy. And then the rest is populated just procedurally, because that's stuff we don't know what's out there. So they have basically gone through all the stellar libraries of all the stars we know that have, you know, planetary systems and stuff. They've gone through those and basically just replicated them. So I need 103 and 104. 103 and 104. Let's do 103 first. And apparently, because when they generated the galaxy, they didn't just say, hey, put some stars here, please, okay, thanks, bye. They did it proper scientifically. So they worked out the potential mass of the entire universe and then got the simulation to distribute that mass correctly so that it knew how to create the stars and planets and bodies around them. And I was watching a thing about this and how they made it, how the engine actually creates the solar system, the star systems and the planets and stuff. And apparently it's so accurate to reality. Like it knows, for example, how much mass should be in a star system, in an area. And it says, right, we'll pop a red giant in there, a red dwarf star. That leaves this amount of mass left. So let's generate an area that would be a cloud of dust. And then let's calculate how that would then condense out into planets. And then what kind of planets are they? Are they gas giants? Are they big enough gas giants to become stars? Excuse me, real sniffly nose, I do apologise. You know, are they going to be rocky planets? How far from the planet? Everything else. And it's apparently so sort of accurate to the way the galaxy works that when Kepler discovered the TRAPPIST system and realised there are planets orbiting the stars, the TRAPPIST-1 star, the guys that made Elite went into their simulation and looked in that spot in their simulated solar galaxy, and there was a lower. What was it now? The star was basically at the start of the main sequence. It was a lower tier main sequence star. And the star in the simulation was in exactly the same place, more or less. It had generated, procedurally, a low sequence main star. So very similar to the one at TRAPPIST-1. And it also had 7 planets, just like the one at TRAPPIST-1. So they kind of... It's quite amusing that their simulation was so spot on to how the universe actually works, that it generated the right kind of star with the right number of planets in exactly the right place. And they were like, okay, that's really cool. We didn't know how it was going to do that. Right, where are we? What's chat doing? I can trade in for an Xbox so I can be in Team Inept. There is that option. Get yourself, if you're going to trade in for an Xbox, get an Xbox One X. Chicken scratch is a form of handwriting that only the writer can understand, says Pomazer. Of course, now you say that, I know exactly what it is. Sim game just made me think of a Sims family flying an anaconda. Nah, it's just more like a... You know what I mean. I still have an original PlayStation, so do I. I got the World of Warcraft beta, so Elite is having to take a back seat. James Lorimer still has an N64. Holy wow, could be worth money now. I'm an amateur astronomer. It looks cool, says Lynn. It is. If you're into astronomy, then you'll love it. There's a video on YouTube. If you try and find, there is a video on YouTube where the guy actually goes through the solar system, and he says, "Okay, let's go to the solar system, the Earth's solar system in Elite Dangerous, and let's actually look at the sky and let's see what stars are where. Can we find the real life stars in this simulated, you know, from the Earth vantage point?" And he goes through and he says, here's all the constellations. There's Cancer, there's Leo, there's Sagittarius, and all the stars are in exactly the right place. It's just, so all the known stars that we know about and have catalogued, they're all there, exactly as they should be, with all the latest data. And apparently every time NASA makes a new discovery, they go in and update everything, so it's correct. So when they discovered, you know, when Kepler discovered TRAPPIST-1, they went in and tweaked that solar system, added some moons here and there, so it was actually accurate to what we know is actually there, as far as we know. They also got Pluto just about right, because the game came out before we'd actually seen Pluto close up. So they got Pluto just about right, and David Braben, the guy that made the head of Frontier, said we got it pretty much spot on, apart from having the heart on the front, which obviously we wouldn't have known about. Other than that, we kind of got it right. And when they then released the pictures and data from Pluto saying this is what Pluto actually looks like, they're like, cool. Pluto and Chiron. So it is fascinating. And nothing quite beats the first time you come out of hyperspace and you come upon, because when you enter a solar system, you enter it just right next to the star, so you can scoop fuel. Nothing beats dropping into a system that's got, say, a white dwarf star, and it's this tiny, brilliant white, glaring sphere with 2 enormous jets coming out either side that just go off into the blackness.
It's incredible. Truly is a sight to behold. I've not come across a black hole yet. That'd be cool. Space Engineer is fun too. I've not played that one. Where are we? I had delicious steak and egg breakfast with hotcakes and coffee in bed. My wife is so sweet on me. You're not kidding. I'm starving now. Stop talking about food. Is it available on Commodore 64? Says Otto76. Well, the original 8 was available on BBC Model B back in the 80s. So you might be able to get Elite, the original on Commodore. I don't know. Nim Cinderin. So question time. If you could meet any historical figure, who would that be? I don't know. It would be a scientist. It wouldn't be a celeb. I have no interest in celebrities. Celebrities bore me and they're totally irrelevant to the universe as a whole. I could care less about celebs. It would be a scientist, perhaps. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I would say, actually, I know who it would be. And his name suddenly blanked from my mind. God damn it. A physicist, astrophysicist. Feynman, Richard Feynman. It would be Richard. I couldn't, just blanked on his name. Richard Feynman. By all accounts, he's an incredible astrophysicist, theoretical physicist, or an astrophysicist, a theoretical physicist. He's an incredible physicist, and also, by all accounts, a great person to be around. And if you ever watch any of his interviews, they are brilliant. Yeah, Richard Feynman. I will get him to teach me about the universe. And also how to crack safes and play the bongos. Jordan Nash. I think it was an E-model stream giving away 135th Abrams, but I never heard from E-models. Would have been an awesome kit to do. That's Lent Gumpler. If it was an E-model stream, if you win a giveaway, you need to mail them with your details. Otherwise, nothing happens. They do giveaways sometimes, like when somebody wins a prize, and basically they never hear from the person, so the prize never gets sent out. Because when we do the giveaways, it's me and Ted doing them. We're not actually employed by eModels, so we're not in the store. We don't have access to that stuff. So we basically run that and say, this person's won this. So the winner then just needs to drop eModels a mail that says, hi, I won the such and such on this show. Here is my name and address. There you go, thanks very much. Because the eModels guys won't know what to send you, or necessarily they won't know how to contact you. Because the eModels, you know, if you're watching on YouTube and let's say you've got your username's Bob Smith 3000 or whatever your username might be, unless you mail eModels to say, hey, I won this prize, please send it to me, they're not going to know who's won. They don't know who you are, where you are, what your address is. So you need to, we always say on the stream, if you do win the prize, drop them an mail and they'll get the prize sent out to you. If they do send something out and you don't receive it and you don't hear anything, then that's when you need to contact them and say, hey, you've sent it out but I've not received it. And that's a whole different thing. But if you just won the thing and then waiting to hear from them asking you for your address, then you need to mail them. Because they won't have any idea where to send it. And neither will Ted and I, bearing in mind, me, Ted and Chris, we don't know who or what is where. So you need to mail them and say, hey, I've won this prize, my address is, and my contact details, please can you send it out. Somebody got attacked by a cat. I got smacked in the head by my cat because I dared to have a lay-in. You're a lucky man, James, says Balaclava Bob. James Lorimer said he'd meet Leonard Nimoy. He was so cool. C64 Elite had the best 8-bit version of the Blue Danube, said Zadster. So yes, you can get the original Elite for Commodore 64.
or trying to find a star you can refuel on when you're low. Yeah, you've got to plan these things. So far at the moment, it's been a case of, if I get to a system, and I've got, say, a number of jumps to do, if I get to a system, and I need to refuel, I obviously got some fuel I need, sometimes I can't be bothered to do it there and then, so what I'll do is I'll blip on the hyperdrive button just long enough to see what the category of star is coming up, because it'll tell you it's an M class star, it's a T2 class star, and if it's a refuelable star, I might just skip the one I'm at and go to the next one. At least then I know before I jump that I can refuel at the next star. If I can't, then I need to refuel at the star I'm at before I go anywhere. But more so now I'm being lazy because I've got my Asp Explorer and it's got a massive fuel tank and it takes like 5 minutes to refuel it by scooping. Fuel scooping. Also, you have to have the Victor voice, don't have Verity. Victor's much more cool. Fuel scooping. Hey Fox, my wife says you could take all those bracelets or armbands and turn them into little wristy tool belts. Yeah, little pin vice bits and stuff stuck on them. Carl Sagan. Oh, why didn't I think of Carl Sagan? God damn it. What? I said Richard Feynman, but now I'm thinking about it, Carl Sagan would be maybe even more cool. I don't know, actually. I think I'll stick with Richard Feynman. I'm happy with my choice. I have no choice now. I've made my choice. I've got to live with it. I can't go back. Tony Blackwell says they're really nice when you contact them. E-models, I mean. Yeah, like I say, if anything ever goes wrong with an order, I mean, this is, I have to do a disclaimer here. This is obviously my disclaimer. I have to do this. My channel is sponsored by emodels.co.uk. Other retailers, of course, are available. Now, my channel is sponsored by them, but these videos aren't. The only videos I do where I am beholden to eModels are the Monday live streams, because that goes up on their channel. Why isn't this fitting? That goes up on their channel, so that's theirs. And any eModels build videos I do, but they are clearly marked as on the video as eModels builds, so you can't make a mistake on those. So although they are my sponsors, I am not beholden to them. Outside of the videos I do for them and the Monday live shows, I'm not beholden to them. But I will, you know, mention them from time to time because they are really nice guys and they will look after you. So I was saying, if you won a prize but you didn't contact them, that's why you never heard back, because they were waiting for you to say this is my name and address. If they sent you a prize and it hadn't received it, you just need to give them a shout and they'll get you sorted out. They are really good. But as always, on my non-eModels content, other retailers are available. I've met Neil deGrasse Tyson, says Jordan Nash. God damn, I'm so jealous. I should have said Neil deGrasse Tyson, but he's not dead or anything, so I didn't really count him in the historical figures bit. I was assuming you meant somebody who is no longer with us, that it would be impossible to meet. But yeah, I'd like to meet Neil deGrasse Tyson. I would pay money. I would pay hardcore cash to put Neil deGrasse Tyson and Professor Brian Cox in a room with a load of flat earthers and just say, right, talk. Please educate these people. I will pay money to watch that. I really would. No violence, just please remove the scientific illiteracy. I will pay all the money in the world for that. It's probably been too long to try and climb that prize at this point, says Jordan. Probably. I mean, if it's like a year ago, yeah, you're probably not going to get very far. It's like I say, if you win something from them, the moment you win, you send them an email. I mean, we say in the streams, we say, well done to whoever's won that. Drop a model to ted@emodels.co.uk with your name, address and phone number, and we'll get it sorted out, because we pass that on to eModels, or rather they get that email anyway because it's eModels inbox, and that's how they know who's won and what they've won. Because sometimes we'll pick a prize on the stream, you know, it might be the giveaway and it might be we've picked that prize like 5 minutes before. Sometimes we get sometimes people will tell us what to give away. They'll say, can you give this away tonight? And sometimes we'll just pick one. So they don't necessarily know what the prize is. But there have been, you know, a number of times where people have won something on the stream and just not mailed them. They've never heard from the winner. Which is a shame, because somebody's missing out on a nice model, or whatever the prize was. I want to meet Brian Blessed. Gordon's alive! How that man is still alive, I do not know. I love Brian Blessed, but he's like so loud and boisterous and vibrant. It's like, how can he still be alive? If I lived that life, I would have died years ago, heart attack or something. Flat Earthers wear their ignorance with pride, says Tony Blackwell. Brian Blessed, live in my beard. I've got the beard, look. I'm working on the Brian Blessed beard. I wish I could grow a proper beard. You do. The secret to growing a proper beard is doing nothing. Just don't do anything. Don't shave. Just don't touch your face at all. Just leave it. Don't. It's the laziest thing you can do, and it's the easiest thing you can do because you do nothing. You really do nothing. Ugh. Sniffly nose, boom, boom, boom. Sniffly nose, sniffly nose, sniffly nose. Sprue Glue Addict, hey Sprue Glue, says, has Ted moved house yet? Nope, not yet. Estate agents and solicitors are all closed over the bank holiday anyway, so he's not going anywhere. He'll be on the live stream tomorrow, because everyone's closed on a bank holiday. What are we doing now? So we want 107. Part number 107, please. 107. I've got the blankety blank music in my head now. Diddle-de-doo, diddle-de-doo, boom, boom, boom. Everybody outside the UK has got no idea what any of that means. Doodle-de-doo, doodle-de-doo. Super match game, super match game. Super match game, boom. I nearly bought a blankety blank checkbook and pen on eBay once, just for laughs. Well, I nearly did till I realised it was the Lily Savage one and not the actual Les Dawson one, because I want the Les Dawson era blankety blank checkbook and pen. Blankety blank checkbook and pen. I used to know a moon landing denier. They think they are clever because they just stick to the one idea, says Tony Blackwell. Yeah, it's one of those frustrations that for some reason in the last sort of 5 to 10 years, science illiteracy has kind of become more prevalent. And it's not people being stupid, it's not people being thick, it's a failure of education. I think it's a failure of education systems in all over the world. Because to me, I don't know, I think one of the most important things you should teach at school, right from the start, is the scientific method, what it is and how it works, the idea of observing and reproducing, because it's not just about science, it's about understanding anything. But nowadays, too many people just say, oh, it's on YouTube, so therefore it must be true. No, it's not. Or this person said it must be true, it must be true. No, it's not. Just, I don't know. There's no real interrogation of facts anymore. So, yeah, it does drive me to despair sometimes. I have to restrain myself from saying too much. It's not that somebody is stupid, it's that the system has failed them to not fully question things. Although I have to say he's done it a few times, but there's one point where somebody asked Neil deGrasse Tyson, he says, how do you respond to people who, you know, claim the flat earth theory? And he just turned to me and said, we have video that clearly shows the spherical earth rotating around. Next question. It's like, yeah. But again, it's a failure of the system. Jordan Nash says, oh, we did mail the email address with the details. In that case, I suppose it's one of those things that it would have been received and passed on, but perhaps it was sent and just never actually received. Things do go missing in the post, so I would have said, if it's last April now, it's maybe a bit too late now, but you could always give them an email and say, look, is there anything we can do, because I've won this, but it's kind of a long time ago now. I would say would have been worth perhaps chasing it up at the time and say, hey, listen, I mailed you a couple of weeks ago and I've not heard back yet. Can you let me know what's going on? Because there's always a chance, you know, that an email goes missing or gets deleted by accident, or it could be anything. Of course, it's not going to be known there's a problem until you let us know, until the person says, I've not received my thing yet. Which one is this one? This is that one. That's 107, so that needs to go there, like that, you see? So that needs to go on there. Okay. Most excellent. Because normally the guys at eModels are really good, so if there is a problem with something like that, they'd be on it straight away. But they kind of need to know there's a problem. It may well be it was done and sent out, and just for some reason it's never turned up at your end, but again, they won't know. Unless they know there's a... Oh, hello. Unless they're made aware there's a problem, they won't know there's a problem. So it's a shame that. I mean, it's probably, I say, it's maybe a bit too long ago now to chase it up, unfortunately. But typically, yeah, if you want a prize from them, if you haven't had a mail within a few days from them, either saying, brilliant, yeah, we'll get it out to you, or just an automated mail that says, your order has been shipped, then you need to give them a shout. I mean, say for anybody, you win anything from anybody. But hey. Right, so that's that glued on. This is where the shoulder pauldron is going to glue. Now, what I might do, I said I wasn't going to magnetise it, but I might see if I've got any magnets small enough that I can put some little magnets in here, so that when I do the pauldrons, which sit on like that, they go on like that. I want to, if I'm transporting this thing, I might want to be able to take the arms off at least, so it can take up less space. So I might magnetise the pauldrons so they can sit on top, but I don't know yet. I'll figure that one out at some point. That might be the kind of thing I do off camera. Oh, excuse me. My sides don't grow hardly. I have nearly baby smoother cheeks, good moustache and chin hair, but no cheekies. My neck is a nightmare. So why don't you just grow like a Van Dyke, which is just a moustache and chin beard, and don't worry about the sides. Keep them shaved. Doesn't have to be a full beard. And no, that's not a goatee. That's a Van Dyke. Apparently, just like the front of your face, your mouth, and your chin, and not the sides, is a Van Dyke. A goatee is where the beard, the chin part of the beard, and the moustache part of the beard are actually separate. That's a goatee. Scraping little things off. Another testament to the GW plastic. I haven't replaced this blade in about 6 weeks. It's an old blade, and it's still cutting. Santa, eh? Where's the bike you promised me in 1976, Tony? Absolutely agree about the scientific method, says Tony Blackwell. I do check the list twice, you know, says Tony. I'm not sure what's going on there. I've missed that bit of chat. Yeah, the scientific method is... It's hard to believe that there are people in this day and age that actually are afraid of science or think of science as some kind of evil. It's like, really? I mean, yeah, scientists can do bad things, don't get me wrong. Some bad things happen through science, but at the end of the day, the only way this species of ours is going to progress is through science. And let's be really brutally honest, every single thing you are doing now, watching the internet on an electronic device in your air-conditioned or centrally heated home, whilst eating or drinking prepared foods that may have been stored, or while, you know, when you drive somewhere, or whatever you do in your everyday life, pretty much 99% of what you do is a result of science. And yet there are people that think science is bad. You know, the people say, oh, it's all a cover-up by NASA. NASA is, A, not the only space agency in the world. B, why would people want to cover anything up anyway? Who cares? And C, NASA's got a tiny budget and can't afford to do the stuff they need to do. Never mind nonsense government cover-ups. So yeah, I think if everyone was educated, at least in a basic level, in the scientific method, which is test, theory, which is, you know, create a postulation. Why does something happen? Well, I mean, the basic scientific principle is, you know, here's something that happens. Why does it happen? First of all, come up with a theory. I think this happens because. Then you test that theory with observable tests. You run tests to evaluate that theory. If the tests you run replicate the results, then pretty much you've proven that your theory was correct, that you thought A happened, B happened because of A, and in experiments B happens because of A. Therefore you can say pretty confidently the reason that B happens is because of A, which I've reproduced in the laboratory or in a test, and you are free to do exactly the same test. Now that's only one part of it. The beauty of the scientific method and of how science actually works is that 99% of scientists are just as happy when they put a theory to the test by experimenting. Most scientists will be equally happy whether the results confirm or contradict their original theory. That's what most people tend to forget. If I'm a scientist and I think B happens because of A, I run a test and test says, brilliant, B happens because of A, you were right, fantastic, I'm right. However, if the test says, no, B's got nothing to do with it, then I'm not like, oh, I was wrong, it's rubbish. I think, right, well, there must be something else, so I need to come up with another theory, and that theory is then thrown away. That's the scientific method. Devise a theory that explains why something happens, test it. If it's accurate and right, then you've come up with the reason. You know why. If it's wrong, you discard that theory, go back to the drawing board and try and find another theory that will try and explain why that happens. And that's it. That's the scientific method in a simple nutshell. Test it, observe something, try and understand it, test it. If it doesn't work, come up with a different reason. That's it. A good scientist will happily throw away a theory if a better theory comes along that corresponds with the observable test results. I'm getting really deep and thoughtful today. It's really weird. Today's science lesson from people that don't like knowing. Scientists aren't afraid of saying I don't know. Saying you don't know means that you have scope to learn. Exactly. Amen to that, says Lynn Dipple. Nim says, I think people fear science because it's beyond their own comprehension. They don't want to think that their own thought process is wrong. No, I think a lot of people fear science because they're poorly educated or stuck under either a system that forbids science or a religious belief that forbids science or does not encourage science, or they're just, again, it's an educational question. They're not educated to accept how the universe works. A perfect education system would foster curiosity in all children for the world around them. It would ask them to ask questions all the time. It would say there's nothing better than asking questions. How does this work? Why does this work? What does this mean? It's like Neil deGrasse Tyson says it really well. He says, the problem with our current educational system and the way our lives currently work is that when children are programmed to ask why, how does this work, why does this work, what does this mean, how do I find out, they take things apart to find out how they work. Unfortunately, too many parents think of that as a bad thing. and just want them to sit quietly and behave. Whereas in reality, you should encourage kids to take things apart, explore things, find out how things work, because that's how science, inquiring minds learn things. Okay, this isn't quite fitting very well. You have to foster that curiosity in children. Otherwise, you just become a society full of people that never ask questions, and therefore everything is the god of the gaps. And then we never get anywhere, basically. This is revision to fit. I don't like the fact it's revision to fit. Am I doing it wrong? Where's the instructions? There they are. Let's try that one. Some of the instructions there. That needs to go in there, like that, you see. That needs to go in there. It almost fits, but not quite. Why not quite? There we go. Little bit of a snap. So that's on there. So what I'll do is I'll not glue that in yet. Again, notice I've not put any glue on this yet. Get that one on that side. It's quite a tight fit. So this back panel needs to be just wiggled around a little bit. You have to wiggle it just a little bit. Apparently. Ping, there we go. Snap it in place. Now I can go in with the glues. So yeah, I mean, I think science is like the most important. Science-based subjects are probably the most important subjects you can teach to children, because that's how we grow as a species. But fortunately, that's not how the education system works. I mean, all things are important, but a healthy understanding of how the world works, being, you know, educated in the scientific method doesn't just mean you're being educated about science. That can then be applied to many other parts of life. I just think it gets ignored and forgotten sometimes, and that's why a lot of people today just aren't born or aren't capable of critical thinking. They see something on YouTube and say, well, it must be right. Okay, so that's that glued on. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. It's pretty well glued on there now. Again, because this is the thin glue, it'll seep into all the little gaps and glue quite nicely. I don't need to worry about using big thick glue there, because it's pretty much stuck in place anyway. There. I need to leave that for a moment, so what we shall do is take a little chatty break, get some swig of the coffees. Oh. Get the tissue of coffee extraction. And see how long we're going for. We're going for 2 hours 24. Cool. Let's have a look. Oh, we've gone quite a long way. Could I do a Spaniard saying James Lorimore? I don't know what that means. I mean, like a little pointy thing with a moustache. That'd be a goatee. You do that. I think people for... no, I've done that one. I'm the kind of person that believes just because I don't understand shouldn't mean it's wrong or bad. Maybe I'll learn more about it or something, you know. Yeah, that's a good way to be. If I don't understand something, I say, I don't understand that. What I don't do is say, I don't understand it, therefore it must be God. Or therefore this other person that says he knows what he's talking about must be right. Because I don't jump on somebody else's coattails. If somebody says, here's an interesting fact, I'll be like, that is interesting, let me just have a look at that. Does it make sense? And I'll you know, I can't sit there and do a laboratory tests, but you've got to apply some critical thinking. Somebody said the Earth was a cube, I'd expect them to provide some evidence. And I'd look at it and go, you're talking out your ass. So, yeah, I don't just accept something because somebody who says they know what they're talking about says they know what they're talking about says it. Finally made it in, and God, it's warm. Good Lord, it's warm, says Weebadoodles. Hey, Weebadoodles. It is warm. It's actually cooled off. It started off here today, sweaty as hell. It's actually cooled down quite a bit now. It's not too bad now. I'm not sweating quite so much with all the lights. Richard Gibbs. I have not failed 10,000 times. I have not failed once. I have succeeded in proving that those 10,000 ways will not work when I have eliminated the ways that will not work. Evolution is just a theory. The best theory we have, but still a theory. Actually, it's not, because you can see evolution in action. You can actually watch it happen in cultures of bacteria and small microbes. So it's been observed. That's a big misunderstanding, because it's called the theory of it. It's not. It's just called evolution. But you can actually watch evolution happen. I mean, you can watch evolution happen in plant cultures. So, so it is actually fact, because you can be observed. The thing with evolution is a lot of evolution that we think of takes place over millions of years, but evolution, there's macroevolution, and evolution as a concept can be observed over hours in cultures. So my dad used to bring stuff for me from work to take home. I'll start that again from Zadster. My dad used to bring stuff. Oh wow, talking. My speech needs to evolve. My dad used to bring stuff for me from work for me to take apart. There's nothing better with a kid than encouraging it to take things apart and study it and learn how stuff works. If a kid takes apart your mobile phone, you don't really tell it off, because it doesn't know he's doing something wrong. He's just exploring, he's understanding, he's trying to figure out how things work. That's what kids do. You should never suppress a child from asking questions. It's the worst thing you can. That's how you just end up with mindless idiots. Evolution is a fact and a theory. Theory in the scientific sense is all the knowledge and methods that go together to prove it, says Tony Blackwell. Thankfully, critical thinking is something you can relearn and reteach a person. It's just very annoying to do, says Chris the Parrot. Yes. All kids want to do today is play games and watch videos. I hardly see kids outside playing. When I was a kid back in the 60s, we were outside that morning till the street lights came on. Same with me. We were outside falling out of trees, digging in the dirt. It's like now, I've seen parents chastise the child because it's digging in the dirt. You need to let the child dig in the dirt. A, it's how they gain immunity to things, because their immune system adapts to all the things it picks up. That's why people that make their houses sterile with cleaning agents all the time, the kids end up with asthma and psoriasis and eczema, because they've not got the immunity to these things that they're going to encounter in real life. But also, it needs to dig to learn. It's exploring. The humans are curious things, and if you stifle that curiosity, you end up with an idiot. Learning the logical fallacies is also well worth doing. Also, being a Girl Scout helps, says Nim. Words hard, said Zadster. I know kids still go outside. I too was a Girl Scout. Actually says Girl Scott. I have allergies, so outdoors sucked then and there. I have allergies, so outdoors sucked then and do now, but I try anyway, says James. The recent studies have shown that for people that have allergies to things like that, a lot of it, sometimes it is just naturally built into that person. They have those allergies, but some of it is related to how you were brought up. If you were brought up in a very clean environment where everything is cleaned all the time, again, as a small infant, you don't get exposure to those agents that you would then later react to. So some of it is down to nature versus nurture. I went to summer camp and built my own shelter, says Nim. I built a fort that always fell apart, says James. Yeah, that's what forts are for. Eat local honey should help with pollen allergies. My kids love going out and getting messy, says the Ildi. That's what kids are for. The entire purpose of children is to fall over, get injured, get messy, get filthy, pick up God knows what, come back with some kind of infection they never had before, because at that age, me or you, we get some kind of virus or something, we'll suffer for it for a week. A kid gets a virus, they just deal with it. That's part of being a kid. You've got to gain these immunities you've got to be exposed to stuff to become able to deal with it later in life. So keeping them wrapped up in a bubble of cleanness is just a really bad idea. Let your kid in the garden, let him dig holes. I was digging holes all over the garden. I was digging them and filling them with water and all kinds of things. Or I come back with a dead bird, says the old D. Well, yep, there is that. Yeah, I found a dragonfly in the garden once, put it on a piece of card and wrapped it in cling film, and it was on the window ledge for months. I was like 7. So yeah, let kids explore. So I think one of the big failings in modern day society is that doesn't happen. Kids aren't encouraged to just question and inquire and explore. Fox's Warhammer and Science Show. Fox's old man ranting show. This is more like it. Smoo's workshop farts loudly. Smoo is in the building. Hey Smoo, how you doing, matey? Welcome to this model making show where we're talking about science and how kids today are just have the worst existence. We're not talking about science, about model making at all. I remember when my grandfather was building a shed, my favourite thing to do was pound nails into a 2x4. Yeah, I did that as a kid. It was great digging up pieces of old pottery in my parents' garden. Yep. Used to dig slit trenches from my Action Man in the garden. I did trenches in my garden for my toy Matchbox cars and had little bridges going over in mud. And then what I'd do is I'd get all the cars in there and play with it for a while. Made this big massive network of like sort of trench roads. And then I'd get the hose and be like, we're having a flood, psh, tsunami, and I'd fill it. And then I think, so somewhere in the garden, underneath the patch of the garden, there's like about 100 Matchbox cars entombed in these, like, an archaeologist ever digs that up. Rustin Customs in, hi guys. Hi Rustin. Weeber Doodles. As an artist, I always try and bring dead birds home to draw, but I was forced to throw them outside because disease and crap like that. Yeah, there's kind of limits there. You don't really want to bring some rotting carcass into the house. There are kind of limits. Let your kid dig holes, but don't want them putting their hands all over like a dead animal. It's probably going a bit too far. I used to do that with my Beast Wars and Gundam figures. Oi oi dad, says Smoo. Where are we? For those that don't know, Dad is Mike Mountain. We all call Mike Dad because he's like everybody's dad. He's great. We love Mike. Right, so we're up to date in chat. We've put the world to rights on the scientific method. This armoured core kit is a slow burner. Lots and lots of seams to do today. They weren't rotten, they were fresh, otherwise they'd be a bit useless. I have limits, says Weebadoodles. Oh, in that case, yeah, if they were fresh, you could have kept them in the fridge in a bag. When I was about 13, 14, no, about 16 actually, in secondary school, I drew animals a lot. That's what I used to draw, cartoons of animals and stuff. And I came into school one day, and my biology teacher came up to me and he said, come with me, come to the staff room, I've got something for you. I was like, okay. And he said, right, here's a carrier bag. Inside it is a roadkill fox. He just found a dead fox on the side of the road. I need you to boil it down and get all the bones. And then I want you to mount the skeleton and rebuild the skeleton. Because I know you like animals and stuff, so I want you to like, you know, deflesh all the bones, rebuild the skeleton, and then you can study it. And it's a thing you can draw then. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I can do that. So he handed me this rather large carrier bag with what was left of this roadkill fox, which was not in a sorry state, let's say. It'd been on the road for a while. So I was like, right, well, how the hell am I going to do this now? And it was that kind of era when they didn't mollycoddle you and say, here's what you need to do. He just said, deflesh it. So I had to go and figure out how to do that. How do I get all the bones from this so I can assemble a skeleton? So I went to the library and did some research and stuff. And in the end, it was just a case of boil it for like a week. So we did that, and basically we kind of had to evacuate the biology lab for about a week because the smell was terrible. We went through about 1 million cans of air freshener. And I'm going to tell you now, life lesson, don't spray air freshener on something that's in a big steel pot boiling for a week that's a dead thing, because it doesn't help. It doesn't help. And then so we got all the bones out, got them all cleaned off, and assembled the skeleton. It was brilliant. But that was a case of, here's this, figure it out, assemble the skeleton. I'm not going to tell you how to do any of it. He didn't tell us how to assemble the skeleton, he just left us to do it. And we got this thing assembled. It took ages, it was great. So, you don't get that nowadays. Hello, what did I miss? Hey, Dave's in. You finished work then, Dave? Not much. I've done a little bit of modelling. But mostly we've bitched about kids. We've grumbled old man style about kids today. Complained about the scientific method not being taught in schools. What else we talked about? I can't remember what we talked about, guys. What we talked about, folks? all kinds of things. I've sweated like a pig because it's really warm in here. Mike Mountain says, Dave, you've missed Foxx talking science. The one thing I really regret, now I've got older, I don't think I'm doing any more building because, seriously, oh yes I am. The one thing I regret now I'm older, and I left school, 30 years ago, is I wish that my school's science, what I'd been taught at school as science, would have been more comprehensive. For example, I'll give you an example. Physics. So I was taught physics at school up to GCSE level. Right, I need pot 36. Where's pot 36? Oh, random numbering. 36. Right, give me a clue here, guys. What part am I looking for? Kind of scoopy part where the head goes. So yeah, I learned physics at school, and I hated it. Why did I hate it? Because it was all pretty much Newton's laws, Newton's basic laws of gravitation, and how to build circuits with wires and bulbs and stuff. And that was it. It was basically like electronics 101 and some real basic Newtonian physics. And it just wasn't interesting at all. Because it was like... So I got burned on physics at an early age because it was like, this is really boring. I don't want to be able to make a circuit. I mean, yeah, you had to learn about electrons and the flow of charge and stuff. But it was electronics. It wasn't like physics. It obviously is physics, but... So I got burned. It's only later in life, when school was long past me, that I began to sort of understand that actually physics isn't just about making a circuit and making a light bulb glow because you put two conductors here and here's a Van de Graaff generator. Whoop, there goes your hair. I started learning about, just, from reading things about, like, quantum mechanics. That kind of stuff, and particle physics, and then that kind of led me on to, cosmology and understanding the wider universe around us and how things work, learning about the scientific method. And that was like, I was lapping that up, and I have ever since. I'll happily sit here and read books about physics. Like I said, if you've never read, anything by Richard Feynman, go and read it. They're brilliant. And it actually made it interesting. And I often say, if when I was at school, I mean, I know I only did it to GCSE, I didn't do it to A level, when it might have got a bit more intense, but even up to GCSE level, if they had gone into things like, or touched on things like quantum theory, quantum mechanics, astrophysics, anything like that, that would have been more exciting to a 13, 14, 15-year-old kid, I would have lapped it up. I mean, I hated chemistry. I didn't mind biology. It was a bit boring. It was all right. But chemistry, I just couldn't get my head around. I hated every minute of it. It was not my thing. But physics, if it had been not just how to make a circuit and here's basic Newtonian gravitational physics, and if they talked about relativity and Einstein's relativity and gravitation, like if they talked about that, it would have been fascinating. If they talked about 20th century physics, it would have been fascinating, but they didn't. And it was so boring. And that was the thing that put me off for a long time. And it was only afterwards I started sort of finding out for myself, and I thought, actually, this stuff is really fascinating because this is how the universe works. And I felt sad that I'd never been exposed to that as a kid, because who knows what I would have been doing right now. Because if they taught that kind of stuff at school, I would have been all in like Flynn. I would have absolutely adored that stuff. I could have been a scientist. I could have been, working in a science of some sort. I could have been working at CERN. I could have loved it so much. I could have been, some kind of engineer or astrophysicist. I could spend my days standing at a blackboard working out principles and theories and complex mathematics. I mean, in reality, I probably wouldn't, because I was also terribly afraid of maths, because I sucked at maths. And you kind of need maths to do physics. Let's just be honest here. I would have sucked at that bit. But still, it would have encouraged me. And I think if I'd had a passion for, say, physics, I may have then resigned myself to actually having an interest in mathematics and then gone down that route. I think mathematics would have fallen into place by the simple beauty of being part of doing physics. But it didn't. So I had no reason to want to learn maths. Because I had no reason to want to learn it, I fought against it and I resisted it and I suck at it today. So I think a lot of it's education today. It's just I don't know what it's like today, but that's what it was like in the 1980s for me. Right, what's chat doing? Let's have a look. Let's have a look and see. Tony Blackwell. It was stopping kids from doing potentially dangerous stuff that made it more difficult to make model kits as a kid. Buying glue from your local news agent became impossible. There are kind of, I suppose, safety concerns, but there's a lot of modelly coddling goes on now. But I suppose there's a certain degree you'll be safe. Fox is ranting about how kids in his day and age, says Nim. I was the only one in my bio class, says Nim, that didn't get squirmy when we dissected frogs. My bio teacher even had a deer heart that day. I'll tell you what, the most fun I had was trying to dissect a bull's eye. Because, my God, trying to cut into a bull's eye with a scalpel, yeah, that's hilarious. For those of you who don't know, it's like the most flexible rubbery thing ever. There's nothing funnier than a class full of kids trying to cut into these bull's eyes and they're just pinging off across the room. I need a clamp for this. I haven't got a clamp big enough, I don't think. See if I can find one. Peg, will a peg fit? No. Oh, I need some kind of clampiness to go on there. I'll use tape. Yes, room full of like teenage boys trying to slice into a bull's eye to dissect it. Ping! Hey, there goes another one. Yeah, ping across the room. I didn't mind dissections. People get screamy about them and say, "Oh, you shouldn't do that." It's like, well, how are you going to learn? How are you going to learn how not just the human body but organisms work if you don't actually, take a look at them? I'll never forget once. It's not really stuck in there, is it? I never forget once. I used to subscribe to the BBC Wildlife magazine or Natural History mag. I can't remember which one it was. It may have been New Scientist actually. And somebody wrote in and said, I was sitting at home the day watching television. And my child was watching television. And a natural history programme came on. And I was like, oh, brilliant. This is all good educational stuff. And then to my horror, it showed lions hunting whatever on the African plains and diving on them and tearing them apart and blah, blah. And this is outrageous. This should not be shown where children can watch this and so on and so on. And I'm like, really? It's how the world works. It's how the world actually works. It's like, do you want your child to grow up thinking that the real world, in terms of wildlife, is like a Disney film? Because that's not how the world works. You shouldn't be afraid to expose your child to real life, because they're gonna have to grow up. They're gonna grow up having to deal with it anyway. And it was that kind of like, she came across as like some real sort of, oh, I say, middle class pompous twit. This should not be allowed on television. What educational programming that shows you how animals survive? Same kind of thing. If you're going to learn how a body functions, human or otherwise, you have to dissect it. I found there was a series on Channel 4. It was the guy that does the plastination. He takes human cadavers and he plastinates them so they can be preserved and stuff. Just cross sections and stuff. And it was a series called I think it was called The Autopsy. I can't remember what it was called. Anyway, it was him, and he basically went through a series of programs where he was dissecting, the human body to show you how things worked. And each one was like, this one was the hand, this one was the heart, this one was the brain, here this one was the reproductive organs, this one was the digestive, and it was a real dissection of a real person, obviously dead. And my friend at the time, my girlfriend at the time, was like, "Oh, this is gross and disgusting." I'm like, "No, it's actually very interesting because you're learning how the human body works. It's how real life. You can't avoid it." Ooh, getting weird there. I learned how to blow stuff up at school, says Smoo. Kick ass. Let's have a look. Geology was great as you were given a sample or a photo of a landscape and you had to use the geological methods to come to a result. I actually enjoyed geology. I really enjoyed geology. We had a good geology teacher. I would have loved an astronomy class in school. I was always looking up at the stars. Sadly, my school didn't even offer anything similar. Yeah, astronomy is like, that would have been great. Even having just an astronomy club. I think there was one, but it was like, I don't know, it was a bit rubbish. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a shame that that's all missed away now. Gwenelle Dupré, I finally finished the gloss coating everything. I'm pretty sure I missed the whole discussion. Yay! Yeah, pretty much. But you got your gloss coat done, so that's all that matters. Masking tape clamp saves the day. Yeah, not much. It's not, for some reason, it's not sticking very well. It'll do. It'll do, donkey, it'll do. Lol, my nan hates documentaries like that. Yeah, old people age. I ate my tea while watching them, says Weebadoodles. Dinosaur One says Weebadoodles. Yeah, Dinosaur's brilliant. Yes, I saw that. It was great, says Weebadoodles. I think it was called The Human Body. And it was that Dutch or German guy does all the plastination. It was a series about 5 parts. I've got it on DVD somewhere. The problem with astronomy at school is doing the practical, said Zadster. Yes. Yeah. Well, nowadays you could just load up Elite Dangerous. Nim asks to Gwen, are we saved from the Nubicorn? And Gwen says, still have to put decals on the weapons and then gunk wash everything. So the Nubicorn could still be around, so just proceed carefully and with caution. Yeah. Right. Okay, we're up to date with the chat. How long are we going? We're going for, come up to two and 3/4 hours. I think what we'll do, we'll probably call it there because I've got that done now and I've got to let that set for a bit. And then it's just a few little details here and there. So we've done that today. It's not much, is it? It's not a great deal. But we've had fun. Hopefully you've all enjoyed today's show. It's been an interesting discussion about science and not model making. But that's what I like about these programs. I like the fact it's just me and you guys getting together, shooting the breeze, talking about anything you want. It's not a how to make a model program. It's a I'm sitting here at my desk sticking things together. Why don't you come and join me and we'll shoot the shit, we'll shoot the breeze, we'll just waffle about anything. By we, I mean me. Waffle about anything. And then you guys give me the stuff to talk about. So, yeah. So this is great. We're going to be doing lots of these. It's not just because you're going to get like show after show just building this thing. Once everything's built, I then need to start painting. And then once I've painted everything, there's going to be more stuff to add to the army anyway. And what I might start doing is, even once the army's done and painted, what I might do is just reserve the weekends for Warhammer stuff anyway. So we'll just have this Warhammer Sunday going forward forever. So even once my army's done, I'll just find other stuff. Because I do obviously, for those of you who don't know, I do obviously lots of other stuff. I do Gunpla a lot. I'm known for doing Gunpla, and I do have Gunpla builds I need to get going with. I need to get started on my Patreon reward, the Strike Rouge Uotoli, which I need to do because it's a reward for one of my $100 a month patrons. So I'm desperate to get the E-Models one built and out of the way so I can start on that. So that's still coming. The E-Models build is, I need to get the diorama done. So plan for the next few weeks, get that E-Models one finished. As soon as that's done, I can get on with the Strike Rouge for my patron. And then once that's done, it's wherever it goes. And what I'll try and do is keep the weekdays for non-Warhammer stuff and the weekends is when I do my Warhammer stuff. But I'll probably do some Warhammer stuff anyway, every now and then. So I know some people panic when I'm not doing Gunpla and some people panic when I'm not doing Warhammer. There'll always be lots of variations. So one day I'll do like a U-boat or a tank or something and you'll all be like, what? That's not a Gunpla or a Warhammer. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, as always, just want to say thank you to everyone who's watched and thank you to everyone who's in chat. Lynn Dipple says the random this, random that show. Yes. It's just a chance to hang out on a Sunday afternoon, get yourself a nice frosty beverage, get sat in the garden with your iPad playing so you can watch it out in the sun. And there you go. Yeah, thank you to everyone who's watching. If you weren't able to watch this live, don't panic. You can still win the... Oh, hang on. if you didn't watch this live and it's not next week yet, today, what date is it today? Today is the hang on, 6th of May. So if it's not next Sunday, all you need to do, if you're watching this not live, so you're watching this video on my channel, on this video, just put a comment down, and I've forgotten what I asked you to... Oh yeah, come up with a name for my Asp Explorer ship in Elite Dangerous. Has to be a play on the word Asp. Somehow make it funny. You've got to beat the one that came up in chat, which was Whoop Ass. What was it now? Can full of Whoop Asp. I think something... I'll go and find it in a bit. So come up with a name for my Asp Explorer that's got to be funny or silly. It's got to play on the word Asp. And I'll pick one at random next Monday. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, as always... do go along to the Model Makers Boom Hut, facebook.com/groups/Model Boom Hut. It's my Facebook group on the Facebooks, strangely enough. Over 3,500 members now, I think. It's just a good place for you to hang out, show off your stuff, get feedback, talk to other people. Everybody on there is awesome. It's a really nice community. No nastiness, no bitching, no snarking, and no rivet counting. We don't allow it. It's a good, encouraging place, especially for newbies who are just starting out in the hobby. You'll get a lot of support and advice and encouragement. Ow! Don't know why I'm doing that. I can't not do it. It's not comfortable, but I can't not do it. Anyway, yes, go along to Model Boom Hut. Don't forget, as always, as well, do like, if you've not watched my stuff before, do like, where's the button? No, it's down here somewhere. Do like and subscribe, and make sure to press the notification bell to find out when I do more stuff. It's not just this live show on a Sunday. I've broken the peg. There we go, nearly broke the peg. It's not just this live show on Sundays. I do lots of other builds, and again, it's not just Warhammer. I do Gunpla, I do other stuff. Over the years, I will do many different things. There's like Colonial Vipers, I've done a Metal Gear Solid Striker, there's loads of other stuff on my channel, U-Boat, go and check it out. And last of all, don't forget, of course, if you'd like to help support this channel and keep this channel going, it's always really brilliant when you do. Just go along to my Patreon page, patreon.com/modelmakingguru. And you can help support this channel there. You can do anything from you can pledge from $1 a month upwards if you want to. There are various rewards depending on what you pledge. If you do pledge more than $100 a month, or $100 or more, then after 12 months you will get, I will build for you either a master grade Gunpla, with a few exceptions, or a Warhammer kit, again with a few exceptions, painted to a skill level 5 degree for you, absolutely free of charge. And you get shipped to you, and it's yours forever. So go and take a look. Go and have a look if you've never looked before. But all support is greatly accepted, because you guys keep me going. Without my patrons, none of this would be happening. I'd be in an office working, so you wouldn't get anything from me. So big thanks to all my patrons who keep me going, keep me supported. I couldn't do any of this without them. But big thanks to everybody who watches my stuff, because I couldn't do any of this without any of you. I love you all. You are all my favourite children. Anyway, I'm waffling light as always. I shall burger off. Take care of yourselves. Stay tuned for next week's Sunday, 3 PM next week. I'm going to try and get some filming done on the Imperial Skitter this week coming up. I don't know if I'll have enough to get it up by the end of the week, but we'll see how it goes. I've got to do the diorama, so I'll see if I can. It's either going to be within the next week or so. It'll go up, as soon as it's done, it'll go up for patrons as a early access, and then a week later it'll go on release for everybody else. So hopefully that should be fairly soon. Right, anyway. Take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to have a swig of coffee. Ow. I do hate doing this wrap-up bit because it's just me waffling. And by this point, most people have stopped watching. So, but hey, thank you so much for watching if you're still here. Go take care of yourselves. Go do something awesome. Go be awesome. And until next time, I'm pointing... Why am I pointing at the microphone? Why am I... The camera's here. The microphone's there. Idiot. Anyway, until next time, I don't know why I'm doing a puppet. Go make something awesome. Go be awesome. Adios, amoebas. Yay! I've got to find the button now. It's not as cool because I can't just suddenly stop and cut away because I've got to lean over here, move my mouse. There.